Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., we begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long.
Here we go.
Live from LA Live. Sweet Tea, Travis Rogers. Hit him in the face, Sliwa.
I'll still take the face.
Travis and Sliwa right now.
People wondering where's T-Raj's yell. T-Raj got a couple days off.
Good.
Clinton Yates in the house here.
I walked in today and I curtsied because I have the honor of doing a program with the host of the year, Alan Sliwa. I wanted to show the necessary deference to his greatness. Your humility washes over me.
Every time that music comes on, I feel like I just need to kick back.
Your humility,
kick my feet up,
and your, what is the word? Your grace.
Something like that.
All of that washes over all of us.
What is going on?
Nothing much, man. How you doing, man? I'm good
doing
today.
good. I'm doing good. All right, we got a lot going on today.
Yeah.
I had dinner with Greg Bergman. I want to talk a little bit about that yesterday.
Okay.
A little bit of let's just say Berg picked up the bill.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Boss
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Berg coming through.
Well,
on
you
that.
really are making moves.
I don't know
with
what's
people.
going on. You went to the Dodger game yesterday.
I was at the ballpark last night. I got stories from there.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. The Dodgers really getting comfortable with blowing leads late in the game. So they're becoming I think a new roller coaster towards the end of games. Morales is going to come throughout the show because we got U.S. Open starting, so we'll have updates, kind of a leaderboard update throughout the show.
Got that live on a side screen here as well.
Yep, and then so every Thursday we do our draft, right? Our snake draft. And today we'll be doing it at noon, and because it's the anniversary of Bull Durham, that's right, Em, right? Is it anniversary of Bull Durham? We're
And
gonna
without
do
Travis, man, he
I know.
loves that movie.
Well, let's not get too crazy here. Some of us have actually thrown out first pitches at a Durham Bulls game,
Of
and by
course,
some of us,
of
I mean
course.
me. So we've
and
got
featured
that.
on their Instagram.
Thank
you know,
We've got the Durham Bulls covered on that front.
Okay, so the idea and the concept, you can hit us on Twitter at any time. Greatest sports movies of all time. So that's going to be our draft. And what happens a lot of the time is we'll do a draft, and then people are going to yell at us and say, how did you not include this movie?
Yeah, where's Ted?
Where's Ted? I think Ted comes up every time.
From the greatest of all drafts, which I was there for, the Bear draft,
Yes.
by the way. But I think, the Bear draft.
The Bear draft
killed
was
it.
super strong.
That might have been the most popular of all the drafts. But with all that being said, instead of yelling at us after, you could yell at us before.
Right.
So if you have your suggestions, hit us up on Twitter of greatest sports movies.
I
of
will
all time.
say this. I might go blind on this. Like, I might just do them all off the top of my head. I know enough
No
sports
prep.
movies. Even if we could do baseball movies, and I could probably go off the top of my head. This might be a no prep step situation for me. So
I think baseball,
to make it more fun.
I would say of all the sports movies out there, the baseball-themed ones are my favorite.
Sure.
They're the most nostalgic, I feel like.
Yeah,
They're all
I
this
think
like
they hit that.
corny, lovey-feely parts of it. But a baseball movie is my top choice, so we'll see what happens with that.
Oh,
Those are going to probably go first.
Yeah.
Do we already know the order?
Oh,
or
yeah, we know
have
the
no
order.
idea?
Okay.
Taylor, how do you feel about the order?
Emily, 1
without
through 4?
knowing?
Yeah.
That's what we doing. How's it going?
All right, so the order.
I feel like as the guest picker, I should get the first pick.
That's incorrect. You're not
Wow.
going to. So the order is
Emily makes the rules here.
Yes, clearly. My bad. Let me step off.
It's Sliwa, then Emily, then Clinton, then Taylor.
I don't think I've ever been first.
3 slots a bad slot. You don't
It
get
is.
either the double pick, nor are you second. That's a tough go for me.
It's a snake
Yeah.
draft.
So
I will do that at noon.
Yeah.
Do that
Yeah,
at
that'd
noon.
be great.
Looking forward to that.
Okay,
Looking forward to
so we're talking. You said that you went to the Dodger game yesterday.
that. Yeah. So last night it was
Before you get into the details,
okay.
you said that I didn't even know this existed. You said that, do you have one of those passes where you can go to any game?
Right. That's what I asked you.
Yep. And I said, no habla inglés. And I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because for the Laker games, and I'm sure this happens for the NBA, I'm sure a Ramona or a Windhorse or maybe Dave McMenamin, something like
Mac
that.
10.
I think there are probably passes that they get through the NBA it doesn't matter what arena that you come to any arena and you're in through your media pass.
Yes.
So you have that for baseball?
Correct. Now, the reason why it's useful is because, when you write about stuff, the beat writers, it's one thing. You got to be there every day. You're doing that daily grind.
That's a grind.
But as a national writer, there's different ballparks that I may or may not get to depending on the situation. So they have passes such that if you go to the game, it's typically considered kind to give a courtesy. Hey, I'm going to be there. If it's a huge game, let's just say, I don't know, I'm not going to walk into Yankees Mets and be like, where's my seat at Citi Field? That's not how that's going to happen.
Which would be kind of cool if you did that.
I'm not the host of the year, though.
You are
so
TV's Clinton Yates.
That's true. So that's good. That's in play, but it's certainly not how I play the game. Okay. Now, home games, it's a little different, as in Dodgers games, home market games, where you just can go. And
it's a Wednesday game.
It's a Wednesday game. It's the Chi Sox.
Yep.
Nobody's really there anyway. So that's exactly what I did. I just went to the park, went there. I was writing a story because last night was Black Heritage Night. There was a giveaway for the special tickets, the special seats. You guys all know how that works, where they gave away a customized Mookie Betts jersey that, to describe it to the listeners, it had – I honestly didn't like the way the jersey looked that much, but that's another story. It had a gray front. It sort of looks like a mix between a Padres and a Dodgers jersey. Look it up. And the reason why is because what we'll just call an African print trim is sort of a brown base. And so there's blue sleeves, a gray centerpiece, and then Mookie's number and name on the back. Now, it was cool and obviously a good cause. But the thing was, and this is, I don't want to get too far down into this, but the Heritage Nights are interesting because you never really know what you're going to get. And I realized that I've never been to a park when I was the target audience outside of like a Star Wars night, which is not really the same thing. Mind you, I did go to the special night for Star Wars earlier this year. Separate matter. I did not use my media credential for that.
What was the giveaway?
Baby Yoda hat with the ears, Scully.
Yeah. Good.
Great decision out of me. But I was like, I've never been at a park when I was sort of the target audience. And I don't just mean in terms of like race stuff, but sometimes they have like sorority nights or school nights or things like that where it's designed to market to a certain type of crowd. I've never been to one of those. And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is going to be like. Now, I tweeted this yesterday. Now, in the community, and by the community I mean black folks, there are certain units of measurement that we use that are not necessarily the same as other things. And I remember my first thought when I walked in and saw these, I said, oh, there are a rack of black folks out here. You know what I'm saying? A rack is a unit of measurement. A rack is not a whole rack, which means a lot more, like a rack plus. But I was like, oh, there's a rack of black folks here. That was the first thing I said. And then some guy tweeted me and he said, I would say there's a grip of black folks. I was like, but a grip is less than a rack. So my point is that it was a nice vibe. They didn't overdo it. It wasn't feeling
40
like
plus thousand
pandering. There were a lot of people there
yeah.
in general for a Wednesday night game against a team in the White Sox that aren't doing a whole lot. But it was a fun night. They had a nice little preamble thing that they did where they talked about the history of the Dodgers. And I don't just mean Jackie Robinson. I mean, they actually went into what the problems are. And for those of you who know me, I write about this kind of stuff a lot. My point is that the franchise did it well.
It's awesome.
I enjoyed that. And we know what controversies they've been in regarding these types of nights in previous weeks and one coming up. So I was there to see that. I had a good time. I saw a lot of sisters there. And if you get to the ballpark a lot, you don't necessarily see a lot of sisters at the yard all the time. But I was very glad to see that. So, unfortunately, the bullpen collapsed.
Well, that's almost like the theme here.
That's not even news anymore.
So
yeah.
before we do that, and we got some interesting sound from Dave Roberts. He's very frustrated, and he had some interesting quotes like this about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, a little more tame.
Yeah, a little bit more tame, but he's certainly frustrated with Kershaw going, I think 6, gave up 2, and then ends up, Dodgers end up giving up 8 runs. My question before we get even to the Dodgers,
I'm not going too far into it. Yeah.
So how many times have you used this pass this year?
This year, I've probably used it 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
I've
For Dodger games?
I've only
games?
used it in L.A., though.
Okay.
And I've taken it. I took it with me.
Petco action coming
I
anytime?
took it with me to San Francisco when I went, but I didn't need it. But I could use it. I was going to use it to go to Sunday Night Baseball when the Dodgers were down there at Petco, but I didn't because I actually didn't end up going at all because I just didn't want to sleep overnight in San Diego on a Sunday.
Very underrated pass that you have there.
It's pretty clutch because it also means that anything you want to see is in play as long as you get there. So now listen, you don't show up, young journalists and young broadcasters.
Yeah.
You don't show up to the park with your season pass and then go hang out with your friends and get hammered. That's not the move.
Right, but you got hammered yesterday?
No.
With your friends?
I did not. I covered the game. As you can tell from my voice, I talked to Dave in the dugout before the game, which, by the way, this guy is dealing with a ton. He's answering questions about injury after injury after injury after injury. And I'm just like, my man is like a medical doctor with a chart. Can we get to the baseball? He's talking the different degrees of Max Muncy's knees and all these other things. I'm like, man, what a tough gig. But no, don't take your season pass and go get banged up with your friends. Be professional. That's the idea.
All right, so when I was in San Diego, and I, at the time was working for the Padres radio broadcast.
Okay.
We would have, so like this pass that you had, we had Ace Parking basically owns every parking lot in San Diego, at least back in the day.
Right.
Okay. And what you're talking about here, where it's like, that's pretty cool. You get this pass, you use it. Bro, this Ace Parking pass, I don't know how many different times you go to the airport, Ace Parking. You go to a restaurant, Ace Parking. You're in downtown, Ace Parking.
Okay.
These passes that, you know, and I only had it until I worked there. When it was done, it was like, yeah, why don't you give us back that pass? But these don't come very often.
No.
And if you have one, and I'm sure everybody has, or maybe through work or something along those lines, they have something that it's just like you can't put a price tag to it.
One solid hookup that is priceless.
You can't put a price tag to it, but that was one for parking. Okay, so you started mentioning, and I think this is interesting because you mentioned all the injuries. Something happening with the Dodgers. I understand they lost again yesterday. I understand that you look at the score, they gave up 6 runs in the final 2 innings of the game, 3 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th.
Can't do it.
But I want to kind of, as best as I can, put it in perspective, because I think what's not being talked about with the Dodgers is where they're sitting with all the injuries that they've already had this year. I think there's just instant, hey, why aren't we winning every game? Why are we losing games? There's a little bit of a panic. We could do that coming up next. Stay right here. T-Raj is out. Clinton Yates is in. Stay right here, 710 ESPN. I make a fast break to FanDuel during, of course, the NBA run, because right now new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. Visit FanDuel.com/play and get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA.
21 plus and present in Arizona, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Louisiana.
right, T-Raj out today, out tomorrow. He'll be at the U.S. Open tomorrow.
Is that right?
So he's got a game plan. He says he's going to get there around 7 a.m. or something like that. And he's going to be there all day. I'm like,
Is T-Raj a guy that dresses like he's going to potentially swing a club when he goes to the golf course?
I gotta imagine that's going to be Taylor, don't you think?
Or is it that his regular gear also already assimilates golf gear enough that that's not really a thing?
I've never been to a golf event, but I would imagine all the fans are kind of dressed that way, right?
I could
Yeah,
see
but
Trav
some
definitely-
guys
I
go-
could see Trav actually bringing 3-4 clubs with him as well. just in
Well,
case.
some guys will wear spikes to walk the course, and it's like, my guy, respectfully, they're not going to ask you to get in that bunker.
I don't think he's going to wear
and
Vans, though.
flop from.
I would not be
30
surprised
feet.
if he wears it.
You think he's going to be in Vans?
He played pickleball in Vans.
That's true. That's the key question: is whether or not he wears the Vans.
I think I would bet that yes, because I think it has to do with like he has to do a lot of walking. He doesn't want to hurt his feet or his back because he's so old. I think he has the van stuff.
He doesn't stretch.
That's true. To be fair, though, I might be off about his regular day-to-day look. We've talked about this before. When I
wears
saw
his
him
Vans all the time.
When I saw him at Keyshawn's party, he actually had like a cool shirt on and some
Versace.
board shorts, and I was
He had
just
a
like,
Versace
oh right.
shirt on.
So maybe he won't dress like a golfer.
Trav always wears brand names. Versace, Kirkland. It just kind of rotates.
ESPN
between
LA.
ESPN LA.
Right, it's a serious collection. So good. I hope he has fun. That'll be good.
All right, so last night the Dodgers lose 8-4 to the White Sox. And, okay, you tell me this. You and Greg do your Blue Review Monday through Friday on YouTube. Check it out. They're putting up Dodgers content on a daily basis.
Correct.
I think there's a couple different ways to look at the Dodgers. Let me try my best to. If you'd have told me that we're almost 70 games into the season, that the Dodgers are sitting 8 games over 500, and they got the third best record in the NL. God bless the Arizona Diamondbacks. I know they're leading the division. I think the just question is that really sustainable? Are the Diamondbacks really going to be? In 2 months from now, are they still 3-4 games up in the division? Maybe they are. I just think they're so early in their they got so many youngsters. They just shouldn't be having this much success.
Right.
But if I'd have told you before the season started, the Dodgers are 8 games over 500. Gavin Lux does not get to play this year. Walker Buehler most likely not going to be a part of the entire season.
Lost season.
Dustin May, you got little bit out of him in the beginning, and here now he's going to, I know he's just on the 60-day IL. We'll see what happens there.
Arguably another lost season.
Julio, it's not like Julio's been there the entire time, and Julio's also he's been okay this year. Through all of that, the Dodgers, which didn't go out there and make some big splashes in the offseason, they're right in the thick of it. They're right in the mix. Now, I'm not trying to justify how bad their bullpen is because I think their bullpen, in just the month of June, 6.5 ERA, something like that, in just the month of June. They're one of the worst bullpens in all of Major League Baseball. They're not going to win a World Series if their bullpen is like this.
No.
They
arguably won't make. I mean, I can say they're not going to make the playoffs, but like, it's at a point now where
Can I just make the argument based on all that? If I told you all this is going to be in front of the Dodgers, yet they're sitting at 38-30. They got the third best record in the NL. They're right in the thick of it with Arizona and the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's also a lot of teams hovering around that record as well. Can I make the argument that, yes, I know there's some frustration with the Dodgers, but they also have a lot of elements that I guess nobody really expected?
You could make that argument, but I would say this is why they play the games. And the numbers that you derive from such things are one thing, but what you see in front of your eyeballs, again, I say this a lot, use the 2 eyes in front of you, forget the third eye often, because watching the baseball, you can tell this is not World Series winning baseball. This isn't even right now NL West winning baseball, never mind pennant winning baseball. And to me, last night was the perfect example. You know, they get a couple runs up on the board. Next thing you know, you go to the bullpen. And not only because of the injury element, Slee, and this is where this is extra difficult if I'm thinking about Dave Roberts. You're dealing with injury, and you're also dealing with a bullpen via front office strategies that I don't even know that the everyday person agrees with. The whole we don't have a closer, what we do to leverage certain guys in certain scenarios, that alone is worth a discussion. Never mind the decisions Robert specifically makes. So like last night,
Can I ask you this? On the closer front, how much of that has leaked to? What percentage of baseball teams right now are saying, let's take the strategy that the Dodgers are using, saying not use a ninth?
Good ones?
Not use a closer in the ninth.
The good ones? None.
Any team.
Any team. The good ones, next to none. Because the reason why is because the way that you operate when it comes to your bullpen management is that you count outs backwards. And the way that you want to do that is that you have a closer who you know can get you at least an attempt at the last 3. Then you set up and you backfill from there. You can do it another way. You can say, it's like saying, I'm not going to figure out my destination until I come upon a sign that I know has the name on it, as opposed to, here's where it is. These are the points we're going to hit along the way. They're just two different strategies, one of which has proven to work, one of which is still kind of up in the air. But my point is that it's a difficult thing for Dave because he doesn't even have his full complement of dudes when it comes to what is normally going to be set up. And on top of that, there's this strategy element. So, for example, last night, I'm going to read a tweet here from somebody that says, feels like once you've basically committed to risking the game to save arms, mind you, because they don't know what they're going to do from a starter standpoint coming up this weekend, you can't bring in Victor Gonzalez for 1 out with like minimal percentage to win. There are decisions within the decisions that are tough that I don't necessarily agree with all the time, that I'm not going to quibble with the big league manager over, but it's an indication of how difficult this season has been. Think of this. This is from Fabian, this stat last night.
Okay.
The Dodgers bullpen has now allowed 135 earned runs in 253 in the third innings this season. Guess how many earned runs they allowed all of last season?
What was it?
185. That's only 50 more. We're in June, and they're at 135. Do you see what I'm saying? There is a talent problem. There's arguably a man management problem. And on top of that, there's an injury problem. You can't win a World Series like that. In addition, you can't win a World Series when you're getting guys on and your top guys can't hit them in. The lineup is not the issue. The staff is the issue. But when you combine the two things, sure, they're over 500. Sure, they're in the mix. They're a good baseball team. But you can't expect that to ride anywhere when you get down to short series and you get down to better competition. That's the issue, Slee. Going forward, the view is murky.
So Almonte gives up 2 runs yesterday. Vezia gives up a run. Scott gives up 3 runs. That was in the 9th, I want to say.
Yeah.
So the problem that the Dodgers have, too, it's not like it's one dude having trouble.
Right.
It's multiple guys.
This isn't a Kenley Jansen situation.
No. You got – and I think they had used Evan Phillips the night before, which you're up 5-0, I think, at one point. Do you want to use him then? And so that – I think that's the game within the game that you're talking about, saying, why don't you save this dude? He's your most reliable pitcher that you have. Save him. If you don't need to use him, don't use him so that you could potentially use him in last night's game.
Right.
And remember, it's not like the score was 6-4 in the 4th. It was 4-2 going into the 8th with the Dodgers.
That's a game you should win.
That's a game that you should win.
And that's what I've been saying all season is that if we look at what this team is and we look at who the competition is, because, again, I hate to say this, Los Angeles fans.
The competition part
you're not playing this game in a vacuum. You're playing against other teams, and other teams have dudes. And the White Sox are coming off a pretty disappointing situation last year, and they've got all sorts of issues up in the air with Tim Anderson, their shortstop, who wants to get out of town, blah, blah, blah. But there's talent there. You know, you can't just say, oh, well, if we do it right, it's going to work. No, if you do it right, you've got a chance for it to work, and oftentimes the Dodgers have come out on the wrong end of those chances. And what I've been saying to Greg on Blue Review, check it out, by the way, if you want to. It not just has a YouTube component, it's on YouTube. Shouts to AK.
Wow.
I'm saying that, like, the expectation level for me from the beginning of this season to the right now has dropped probably about 10 wins. Just on looking at the competition. Like, last year, 100-win team, nothing. 90, okay. But if this team gets to 90 wins, I will be surprised. That will mean something will have changed in terms of whether or not they decided they wanted to raid Oklahoma City or Tulsa, for that matter, my point being the farm, or whether or not they want to start making deals before this trade deadline and figure out what they want to do. Because when you got 26, 25-year-old catchers sitting in your farm system who were top 5 guys in your farm system, and you've got Austin Barnes, who can barely hit the ball out of the infield more than once a week, like, something's got to give here. And I understand why he's there. Clayton Kershaw, et cetera, but At some point, you've got to say, look, we've got our system for a reason, either to trade from or bring up from. And when your injuries are looking like this and there's certain parts of the lineup you can adjust, I think it's time for some adjustments to be made on that front because the Dodgers can't win games they should be winning.
All right, listen to Dave Roberts talking about the how frustrated last night's game was.
It's very frustrating, and they got to be better. Execution. It's not workload. It's not the right lanes or the wrong lanes. They need to be better, period.
This is him talking about how there's no momentum either.
Well, right now there's no momentum. When you get guys in scoring position, you got to put them across on play, and then you got to put up zeros. Once you do that.
So it's funny because there were a couple different times that Travis and I would have this conversation about what decision, who's coming in, this, that. And Trav said that I don't think he's making the decision. I'm like, Trav, come on. We're in June.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that. If you want to make the case that in October Dave Roberts isn't making a decision based upon whatever it is. They got their strategy, and this is what they're going to do, and everything is based off the analytics. I get that in October, but don't tell me in June that he's not making decisions about who to bring in, this, that. And he's like, no, I don't think they're bringing. I don't think he's making the decisions. I think it's kind of there's a pre-planned type of thing that they have.
So that's more so close. It's not a situation where somebody picks up the phone and says, "Hey, Dave." Sure. Evan Phillips isn't throwing right now. You're going.
Here's the game plan coming in.
You're going to Bruce Dahl. It's more of like something closer to Emily knows this well. A chart that a football team has for like a 2-point conversion situation. Certain scenarios indicate certain things from a strength standpoint, from a matchup standpoint, and you can disagree or agree with those, but. Ultimately, this is where I have a problem with teams that consider themselves analytics-based, and I understand that that's a very loose and crude term for squads that use data to try to get their strategies right. But my point is that that's where, again, the two eyes in front of you, over time, is where that adds up. It's not just decision to decision. And if you take the opportunity to make decisions out of guys' hands based on whatever math or whatever formulas, over time your ability to see what you need to see with your eyeballs erodes too. And that might be closer to where we are. Yeah, okay, play the math. The math ain't mathin', as they like to say on the internet. So let the guy with the actual baseball experience, and I just mean that in terms of being in the dugout and the clubhouse, make a decision. I don't know where we are on that in between, but I can tell you that the sound of frustration in his voice
you can tell.
has a lot to do with it, but he is right. Execution is always going to be a bigger deal than preparation. That's the whole point of, again, playing the games. The Dodgers bullpen is the least well-executed version of themselves that they've been in a long time.
The math ain't mathin', you said, is on the internet.
Yes.
I haven't seen the math ain't mathin' on there.
You're not familiar with that term?
If other
I've
people
heard
have,
about it. There's a many things like the thing isn't
I wanna
whatever.
use
Cody's back there. You never heard that either? Cody's never heard it either.
I
Wow.
want to use it.
Goodness.
I'd like to. Carlos had got his hands up saying he hasn't seen it. I'd like
Goodness
to see
gracious.
it. Put it this way.
God, I said we'll go to one Black Heritage Night. All of a sudden, I'm educating everybody on
I
what's happening.
to use it.
Yeah.
At some point in the show, I want to say the math.
Okay,
ain't mathin'.
here's a great example.
Okay.
Here's a great example. How old is LeBron James?
38.
How much more money is he going to be paid on his contract?
He's got 97 due.
How many games a year is he missing?
Let's say he's missing 30-ish.
The math ain't math.
The math ain't mathin',
Or
everybody.
you could also say that
You see what I mean,
ain't
Slee?
mathin'.
You see what I mean, Slee?
Okay, I got another.
Here's an example too,
Yeah.
and Clinton, double check if this is right.
Okay.
So I will do the list in the order for our snake draft.
The math ain't mathin' there. I'll tell you
Exactly.
that right
Never
now.
mathin'.
That Emily is typically in a good position. The math ain't mathin'.
Right. That's
The
exactly
credit card.
right. Well played.
The debt on my credit card versus my income. The math ain't mathin'.
Yes.
You
All
got
right.
it.
When we come back, I want to spend a little time. I had some dinner
On the math ain't mathin'.
with Bergman yesterday.
Oh, math definitely mathed on that one if he picked up the tab.
He picked up the tab. By the way, why does we'll get into it. The food just tastes so much better when you know you don't have to pay for anything. There's certain items that we ordered, and I'm very curious
For the table.
if this would have made your dinner table.
I can't wait for this.
We went. Emily kind of has an idea what I'm talking about because I like to do, sushi for the Super Bowl or
Sure.
ramen, things that have nothing to do with sports. So we'll do that coming up next.
Nice.
Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show. Yates in the house, 710 ESPN. All right, Clinton Yates in the house.
Can we just say quickly, hold on. I know
Yeah.
we're going to get to you and Greg, but you guys weren't listening to that. Slee just chalk talk and diagrammed an outfield assist to me in the break. I don't think I've ever heard him this excited about baseball.
No, it was a good play.
Clearly was not talking about the Dodgers, but that's never happened before. That was a new one. That was my maiden voyage with Slee baseball analysis. Welcome to Blue Review.
Thank you, man. Welcome to Blue Review. Okay, so
A seam head. if
Right,
one might say.
exactly.
So we go to he's nice enough. Berg's nice enough to come out to Pasadena yesterday.
The Dina.
Okay.
So I don't have to do much. I'm literally like, all right,
I mean,
well,
you're
that
the
sounds
host
good.
of the year. Membership has its privileges.
You gotta come to me.
make a. So he's done with the show. So he probably gets there around 5:15 or something like that.
All
so
right.
we go to a restaurant, good restaurant. It's it's Asian fusion, maybe you want to call it like that.
My favorite.
So it's called Bone Kettle in Pasadena. You tell me if, and I think maybe Berg was just feeling good. Oysters.
Oof.
Greg orders oysters. Okay, you an oysters fan at all there?
I tolerate them. I'm kind of closer to middle than Emily on it, but
Emily,
Yeah. No, thank you.
no, thank you. Okay, are you an oysters fan?
Yeah. Oysters are the kind of thing I will typically eat when I'm by myself.
Okay.
Or on a date.
Yeah, yeah, we were on a
For-
date
for
basically.
separate reasons.
There's
Berg and I.
separate reasons
Yes.
for the date.
Okay, let me just say this: there was a happy hour menu, so we did a little bit off the
Oh, a
happy
little
hour
sampling.
menu. Oysters was one of them.
For the table.
Bone marrow.
Okay.
Have you guys had? And you tell me.
Mm-hmm.
So in this specific case, basically huge blocks of the bone marrow there, and it comes with
A bread?
grilled baguettes.
Yeah.
So you're basically it's like a butter.
That's
that you're
reasonably
just
standard
using.
as a
Y'all are
serving.
on mega fancy on this.
Again, I'm gonna go back to this. I don't know what Berg was feeling. Berg was feeling really good, so Berg was doing it. You ordering that at a dinner or no?
I'm trying to impress somebody if I'm going with the bone marrow.
This is very date material.
Yeah, at this
Bone
point,
marrow,
I'm
oysters, come on, guys.
I'm rounding second base if you get my meaning when the bone marrow comes out.
Okay, but let me say this. I'm kind of pushing all this because I've been to this restaurant before.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like,
dropping hints.
Trust me, we should try the bone marrow. It's,
All right.
it's delicious. Got some wings, but the wings, it's not like your
Wings?
regular. Yeah.
Okay, let's slow down. Let's pause right there. If I'm starting with oysters and I'm moving to bone marrow, wings are all
came
way
before-
off the table.
Wings came before the
Wings
bone marrow.
are B-dubs on up type
Yeah,
level.
you can get that anywhere. Bone marrow and oysters is very
The wings,
specific.
Right, wings
let me-
never
let
got
me
through
tell
the
you
dress
something.
code
Let me
at
tell
that
You
point.
get some mozzarella sticks.
some poppers.
Yeah, some potato wedges.
Let me tell you something. These are not your, look, there's certain spots. I know a lot of places make wings, but there's other places that it's got, like I said, Asian fusion. So
Sure, sort of a
the spice is gonna be
sriracha,
different.
sriracha aioli situation. Yeah.
But they're
wings-
still fried wings.
The
Yeah.
wings are delicious. I mean, completely.
Sure, yeah.
So we had that.
Okay.
And then went on. I did. He didn't do this, but they're known for their broth and their ramen.
Right.
So I was doing ramen. So I ended up doing that. It was a very
Hold on.
Yeah.
What was the consumption on the liquids side? Did we get after it a little
I
bit?
just had a beer.
You had a beer. Okay.
Okay.
And he just had one drink as
He
well.
was driving.
So
You guys
both
were
of us-
driving.
Yeah,
Right.
both of us just had one drink. So we didn't go crazy there.
All right.
But it was a lot of different type of food. I don't know if Taylor's in on this. I don't know if Taylor's like sitting on the side like, no, I'm good, guys. I won't touch any of it. But the food was freaking amazing.
Okay. Let me.
Then Berg at the end just took his credit card like the champion he is and just said, no, I got this one. I'm like, Berg, we could just split it.
It
It's fine.
sounds like a lovely date you guys
I
had.
hope you guys were watching on YouTube there because the level of fortitude with which he displayed the.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a
Berg
sneaky.
came in like, no, I got this one. I'm like, okay, I know. Other people can hear. It's fine. You got it.
So two things. Again, to complete my point, once chicken wings enter the chat,
Did it change the dynamic?
completely. If we're going oysters, bone
Some
marrow,
ranch.
I'm
And
expecting
potato
us.
skids.
I'm expecting us to get to closer to a bacon wrapped scallop, perhaps something on a skewer. I am not downshifting.
Some sort of like dumpling too.
Sure,
Yeah,
I'll even
yeah.
give you a dumpling. I'm not downshiftting to wings at that stage. Primarily
I can
because
help you out.
typically, I'm also not a wings as an appetizer
Are these regular
guy.
wings?
These are no, those are not regular wings. I am a wings as a main.
Are those
guy.
regular wings?
No, I wouldn't even call these wings.
But does that not match some of the food that I'm talking about?
Maybe. So what we're looking at here is sort of a fried.
I mean, they're wings.
I can't even tell which parts of the chicken these are. Like one's a
Ultimately-
thigh, one's a leg. There's a what I'll call
so they're massive.
a soy drizzle,
They're
if
big,
you will, on this. These would not identify as wings to me.
But how do I describe it? I mean, that's
Well, the menu
ultimately what
say.
they are.
It is. I guess that is what the menu said. It's more like a. I don't know.
It's such a random assortment of food, though. How's
the
his stomach doing?
The menu says chicken wings.
Okay. All right.
That's not your regular chicken wings.
No, they don't.
No.
Not in a box or anything.
Right. No, that's a good look. I mean, listen, that's less far afield than I thought it was going to be.
As long as I could have ranch with that, I'm good.
There's no celery and no carrots coming
She
with
keeps
those.
going back to the ranch.
I'll tell you that much. But I do think that the bone
bone marrow.
Bone marrow is one of those interesting things that if you've
couldn't help
eaten
myself.
food
I had to
around
pick
the
up the
world
bone.
or
It
from
didn't
around
look
the
good.
world,
Yeah.
bone marrow is not like some super delicacy. You can buy bone marrow in street meat places all over Southeast Asia,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll cost you next to nothing.
Mm.
But it's one of those things that because people didn't know a whole lot about, by the time it gets to the U.S., it's a delicacy. And it's like, oh, y'all got that bone marrow. You know what I mean? Let me
And
upcharge
then they
you for the
just,
bone
yeah,
marrow.
I was just going to say,
and
then
it's
they
like,
just throw a ridiculous price on
and
there.
you're like, what is this? Like, I could get, I mean, of course, that's the cost of culture.
I
And
mean,
that's,
it's like lobster. Lobster used to be super cheap, and essentially it was prison food for a while, and now it's one of the most expensive things you can buy at most menus. Just
did you
kind
know
of
that the reason why that is?
Emily
Where'd you
has
go to prison?
lobster. Yeah, I was going to say, Emily has lobster.
no, she's
5
right.
days a week.
You know this.
That's historically right.
Fun fact, the
didn't
reason
know that.
why lobster is so expensive is because it regulates the prices of all the other fish in the market. That's what the thing is. Once the demand for lobster changed to the point that it was priced so high,
Some people
you
go to
couldn't-
the Slammer to get lobster.
you couldn't price the other fish the same way. I'm not a lobster guy. I'm a crab guy. Way better.
Lobster's too
Way better
rich.
meat. Yeah.
We sound so hoity-toity right now on this
Okay,
show.
listen,
I don't think lobster tastes
listen.
good.
Listen, that wasn't the goal of mine, was to make it sound like that. It was more Bergman was in an
Moving
interesting-
outside of his typical strike
something
zone.
changed yesterday with
Wow.
Bergman.
Maybe it
because
was
there's a
the
lot
presence.
of times Travis sitting here and he's like, I love this from Del Taco, and he gets his sushi from Albertsons, right? Like that.
Right.
That is definitely more of the show. And then anytime that I mention I go to a place that isn't fast food, Travis is like, tell me more about it.
Right,
I'm
he
like,
wants to
Trav,
know.
no, these restaurants are everywhere. This is not, they didn't just start creating these restaurants.
They didn't open them up once they knew that the host of the year was walking through the door.
I will say, and I think everyone would agree with this, anytime you go, whatever it is, dinner, lunch, you got a family get-together, something like that, or whatever the case is, and you have nothing to do with the bill,
Oh,
come on.
great feeling. The only better feeling is the handle out of nowhere situation.
Okay, what do you
where
mean?
sometimes there's a group of people, and this has happened to me before, group of people who are otherwise affiliated, who know each other, but nobody's necessarily that tight, and folks are going around, and it's like, hey, I don't have time for y'all to be split. Just give me the check. I'm getting out of here. What's the first digit say, and how many digits are before the daggone?
God bless that person.
Before the daggone. I've had to do this once or twice in my life just because I didn't have time to wait.
Well, here's what
I
you
got
can
better
do.
things to do.
Here's what you can't do. Hey, we need to split this 4 ways, and I didn't have a drink, that person did, and all that. That's too
Yes.
complicated. You
So-
can't do that. That's like, that's way too much work.
There was a place, and I thought about this the other day. There was a place in downtown D.C. back when I used to work in journalism there. It was a place called Vapiano's. And the reason why this thing was so cool,
Vapiano.
is that when you got there, you got a card. And so you would get your own food. When you bought drinks, they would pit your card. And so when you needed to leave, all you did was take your card to the front and pay
Ball game.
your part of it. You could Irish exit with the best of them and not disrespect everybody. And you didn't have to goof around when you bought other people drinks as to whose it was going on and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
It was a great system.
There's places now here. I know 33 Taps is it, but there's a lot of places. I think it's called like Tab or something, where you just do your own ordering. You can sit at the table. You have a little QR code. You scan your stuff. You get what you want, and then you pay your own bill when you're ready to leave. I'm much more fan of that. But I'm also, if I do and I'm going out to get drinks with people, I'm more of like a round person. Like,
Yeah.
I'll get this round, you get the next one, and kind of it ends up evening out if everyone participates in the
leave
round.
I can
after-
also-
when they buy the first round, then I leave.
You're out of there. Yeah. I can attest to that. I've seen Emily do that, and I've also bought rounds for her and her friends. So I know that she's
Yes,
not just
appreciate
making
it.
that up for
Emily,
the radio.
I'm very disappointed that when we tried to do Vapianos, you didn't jump in.
Hey, I'm walking in.
I'm walking
Gotta get some
in.
bone marrow.
Papianos is so great. So what do you when you go bone marrow?
Yeah.
Do you use it as like a dipping sauce, or do you put it on the bread, or
Put it
do
on
you
the
just
bread.
you put it on the bread every time?
Yeah, and it's basically the way it's served. Got a small little spoon, so you got room there, and it's basically for the bread.
I am the kind of person that will dip things in the bone marrow as I go
Which
on.
is okay if it's because there's so much
There's
butter
a
that's just
ton.
sitting there,
Yeah,
oil, whatever.
exactly.
That you gotta use the bread for that.
Okay, sop it up. Fair
All
enough.
right, enough bone marrow talk. Hey, did you see coming up next? Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa, Yates in the house, 710 ESPN. Okay, Sierra Subaru Monrovia. They have set me up a couple different times. The latest car that I've got to drive around is the 2023 Subaru Ascent. What a beautiful car. And I think for those who don't know, it's an SUV, 3-row seating, 8 passengers. You could fit 8 passengers in the car. I just recently took it. When I went to Joshua Tree a couple weeks ago, took the car out there. Just a beautiful car. Totally advanced, super safe. I've driven the 2023 Outback as well. And the models that Subaru has, if you're not familiar with the brand, I highly, highly encourage you to go to sierrasubaru.com and just see for yourself some of the different models out there that would make most sense for you. One other thing that I do want to mention, Sierra Subaru Monrovia, they do so much for the local community. This Saturday, I'm going to be part of one of their events coming up just a couple of days here. They're sponsoring Santa Anita's YMCA Healthy Cooking Classes from Little Chef's Kitchen Adventures for young children ages 3 to 12. So I'm looking forward to that. Go to sierrasubaru.com or visit them at 735 East Central Avenue in Monrovia, just off the 210 freeway.
Do you have
For the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
What's going on there, Taylor?
Not much. So did Berg send you like a Venmo request this morning?
Oh, no.
Is that coming?
The renege, as it's known, you know, in the card table world.
Cindy crashing back down to earth.
Yeah, since he's off today, I think he'll probably just take it directly out of
Payroll
my check.
deductions.
Yeah, payroll
that's
deductions.
precisely where he's going with that. Yeah, good call.
Okay, guys. Did you see that there was a survey and they listed things that people pretend to like? So atop the list,
This is my kind of topic.
atop the list, we had influencers. So online influencers. Second were bars or restaurants where nobody can hear you. And third was going out and getting blackout drunk. So kind of a random assortment there. But what's something that you're convinced people are just pretending to enjoy? Clinton.
Okay, so this ties into the last conversation we had. Lobster is on the list. I think this is a big food thing.
Okay.
I think a lot of people front like they like a lot of things. IPAs come to mind as well, that they don't actually like. And the beer industry, I think, thrives on this. The whole world of sours and all of this stuff. And I'm sure there are people that genuinely like a lot of these beers with a lot of funky taste. And I'm one of those people. I don't do sours, but I do a lot of big-time hoppy beers. I think that there is a lot of fake in the funk in what is the craft beer industry, for sure. No doubt about
Maybe
it.
I want my drink to taste good, and therefore I don't want to have the super hoppy crafty beer.
Okay, but I don't think that there is, like, I mean, listen, I live across the street from a brewery. They got 35 different types of beer every single day of the week, and they're rotating them every 4 days. I'm like, what? Come on. You're telling me that
Who's
there's
drinking this random
who's
thing?
drinking all these beers? You know what I'm saying? There's only so much capacity the human body has for different palettes of taste in beers, but then maybe that's just me.
Okay, if I stay on this theme, I think coffee's on that list. Where people, I drink coffee every day. Sometimes a couple cups of coffee. I don't really drink coffee saying to myself, "Oh my God, this tastes amazing."
Yeah.
Like what? There's so many things that you put in your mouth or you drink or you eat or something along those lines, and you say to yourself, "Hey, that tastes really good."
Cup of
oh my
coffee
gosh,
in
this
the
is
big time.
really refreshing. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
How many times do you sit there and you say, and I don't put anything in my coffee, so I put some milk in there, but that's
Right.
it. So it's like, do you drink coffee and say, "Oh my gosh, this tastes amazing"?
So you think people are just acting like they like coffee more, but the effects of
It's
it,
just the
health-wise,
effects of it. That's
are what
the
they
only
really like?
the only thing. Okay, I got one other thing.
Sometimes it's okay. But yeah, go on.
One other thing.
Because I do like the smell of coffee, but I don't drink it because I don't need it.
I think this isn't a drink thing or a food thing or any of that. I think people pretend to like where they work. That happens.
Is this autobiographical?
I think this happens all the time. It's like you got somebody that is a manager somewhere, and he's like, "Do you know how fortunate we are to work here?" And he's like,
those types.
What a
Those type
fortunate
people.
moment we find ourselves in.
You got me by
Shout
that.
to
And I
Cappy.
think everybody there is like, yeah, absolutely. And then the moment they get off work saying, what am I doing?
That's changed a lot, though,
That
man.
happens a lot.
Those days are kind of behind us. The idea of, I mean, heck, look at Nikola Jokic. The idea of my
As in
job.
you could be more honest
My
about
job is my life. Yeah, the Gen Zs or whatever, the Gen
Work-life
Alphas of the
balance.
world, whatever they're calling these children these days. They don't act like they like it. Where's the paycheck? Get me out of here. I got better things to do.
Okay, I got 7 more. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
All right, obviously, I have some. So first thing, food related though, cauliflower substitutes. People pretend to want the cauliflower wings, the cauliflower crust pizza, whatever else. We all know it tastes like
This is
you
a
know
good one.
what.
This is a
okay?
good one.
Yeah.
So cauliflower substitute is poor, and the only reason people probably do is because they're vegan and they don't want to, do the other option.
Or they're
Other-
just trying to pretend like convince themselves they're doing something healthy. I've definitely
it's
done
cauliflower.
that. I've definitely done that.
It sucks.
And then you look at the calories. I'm like, it's kind of basically the same calorie
Yeah, because the
count.
sauce you put on the chicken wing is more of the
Wow.
gross stuff. Also, other thing, and don't come at me for this.
I
but
want to go to like
So hold on.
11:30 with Emily's.
Yeah,
list,
where are
'cause I
you
know
on
she's got a
what's
lot
known
there.
as cauliflower rice?
It's terrible. Just
Yeah,
have
that's not
normal
good.
rice.
Yeah, that
Okay,
one-
it's
that
not
one's
that
not that
different.
Okay.
That one's
Okay.
not that
Also,
good.
other thing that is people pretend to like Vegas. Sorry, don't come at for me. People
No,
pretend to like Vegas.
that's a good call. And Vegas is one of those places that generationally will affect you a lot of different ways. You
Yeah.
go to Vegas with your boys when you're 21, different situation than if you
Yep.
go to Vegas with
your girl and you go to a
conference-
show, dinner,
your
this,
conference
that.
when you're 30, or with your partner when you're 45, and you want to see some act from 20 years ago who's got a residency. It's got a lot of different lives to live, Vegas.
I'm okay with that one. The Vegas one, I agree with.
Cauliflower catching a major stray there.
Taylor, any on the list for you?
For me, even though I run myself, I would say running long distances. I think people that are doing these half marathons and marathons, they got to be lying to themselves.
Wish I could lie to myself more with that.
So you know what's funny is you meet people sometimes and they'll tell you, I've never run a marathon. I'm like, oh, I know. Like, how do you know? Well, because you would have told me if you've run a marathon, because everybody runs a marathon, constantly talks about running marathons. That's all I have to say.
Did a half.
Okay, let's do another one really quick here.
Did you see? To turn around and go back again? I can't understand that.
Return trip.
Did you see that only 2% of actors earn a living from acting, and 0.04% of actors are actually what you call "quote unquote" famous? So, Slee, who deserves to be more famous? And they don't have to necessarily be an actor, but Slee, who do you think the public should see more of?
Problem is, I think some of the names that I have, I think they're already famous. Like if I said, I wish Vince Vaughn was in more movies.
You don't have your ear to the streets on the latest thespians that are up and coming these days? That's not something you...
Could be a comedian, could be a sportscaster, sports writer, anybody. This guy sitting next to you right now?
Chris Miles, but no, Chris Miles doesn't count because he's personality of the year.
I will also say this. I am now...
I'm trying to think here.
I'm in my Jackie Robinson year. I am not at the stage now where if they're not like baseball prospects, I'm not finding out about them until they've gotten to a stage where most people already know about them. I'm not one of these guys that's hanging out at, I don't know, let's just say the honky tonk where some guy is playing his new jam that is yet to hit Nashville. I don't have those kind of street connects when it comes to music or even acting like that these days.
Who should be more famous?
So I think music-wise, this person I just saw recently, Caroline Rose.
Okay.
I think she's fantastic. I think she has a lot of talent, a lot of vision. I think that she would be great to get bigger and more famous. Also, this band Muna that I really love that I'm going to see again this October. That's fantastic. And then also an actress that I think should be more famous, and I think she's super talented. I just saw her in a really interesting movie. Is Eliza Scanlon, and she was in Little Women. She's been in this miniseries called Sharp Objects, but she's incredibly talented. So those are very niche, and I know people don't really care about it, but I think those should be more famous.
Okay.
Is there an athlete that we would all agree should be more famous? Maybe doesn't get enough love. Maybe
Clinton Yates
has a great personality, and we don't talk about.
That's a really good question. We'll return to that.
I tell you, got another one there?
That's it for today.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we come back. Are we throwing this to you now, or
we could just kind of make it part of the show? We can make it fluid.
Okay.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to set up?
Let's do it right now. Okay, so you do your leaderboard update for the U.S. Open.
Okay,
which is going on right now.
I got to be. It's been a long time since I was like an update anchor.
I see you hit the.
I never actually officially was. But
you hit the pro shop hard. That's a good look.
Look at the ball in here.
Yeah, I'm saying you hit the pro shop hard. Morales is decked out. Here we go.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't date. I don't have kids. I don't have a family. So you save up for these moments where you just hit it hard.
This is soft. It's a softball. I didn't realize this is like a...
Taylor, hit the stager.
It's time for a U.S. Open leaderboard update on 710. Teed up by Pinehurst Resort. Here's Chris Morales.
Here we go, 123rd U.S. Open at L.A. Country Club, and it was a spectacle yesterday. Getting up those hills, I don't know how Travis is going to do it tomorrow.
He's not having it.
In Vans.
Oh, my gosh. It started at 6:45 a.m. My relative, Omar Morales, the amateur, along with Jacob Sullivan, they teed off, and right now your leader at -4 through 15 is Jacob Sullivan. Unfortunately, Omar Morales is at about 21, but he's an amateur. What do you think is going to happen when you're an amateur at LACC?
Did not realize we had a family friend in the tournament, draw.
That's somebody made that joke on
Twitter. That's extra joke. That's why it's funny.
Meanwhile, Ricky Fowler is tied for second, -3 through 9. He started on the back. Fan favorite Ricky Fowler.
Fowler.
Exactly. Producer Lindsay went there this morning to just stalk Ricky Fowler, as I would do too.
Sure.
Bryson DeChambeau started on the back. He birdied 14 and 15. He made up for his bogeys at 11 and 17. He is currently -1 through 10. The 2021 U.S. Open champion, John Rahm. Some people say he's my doppelganger. I take that as a compliment. He started on the back. He's even through 8. Phil tees off at 12:59 p.m. on number 10 with Patrick Harrington and Keegan Bradley. And today at 1:54 p.m. on hole 1, Brooks Koepka and Rory Of course, the Battle of Liv and PGA, along with Hideki Matsuyama. 1:54 p.m. I can't wait. That is your U.S. Open leaderboard update brought to you by Pinehurst Resort. At Pinehurst, it is someone's U.S. Open every day. What?
I didn't say that.
Visit Pinehurst.com now to plan your stay. Of course, Pinehurst, the site of U.S. Open 2024 next year.
You know what just happened? End of the first quarter updates. It's going to be Chris Morales.
That's strong.
End of the first quarter Rams updates.
No.
It's going to be Chris Morales.
Can we talk about this update music though?
Well,
I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
All right, Emily's
pull
gonna
a caper
kill me.
off.
Emily's going to kill me if I don't go to a break here. We'll go to break. We'll come back. And I still got to figure out how Travis is going to get through all of tomorrow.
We got
at
a
the
lot
US
of golf
Open.
to
Do all
talk.
that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
Hey, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Do you have like a taco guy, like a go-to person, like in your phone, his name, and then it says taco guy, or no? Honestly, like, do you go to the same person?
We have a couple that we use.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
We got to redo all those because it's got to say host of the year.
Yeah.
Well, that is by far the most annoying promo that I'm in.
It's not a promo. That's a rejoin.
That is by far the most annoying rejoin that I'm in.
I thought you don't like the shawarma one.
That one has grown on me a little bit.
The best part about the shawarma one, it's literally a highlight from the first night of the show ever, I think, right? I think shawarma 90210 was the first night of the show.
Yeah, it was the first night.
I need more Murphy beds. That's all I.
Right.
More Murphy bed Slee is all I.
That
need.
came a few months later.
Yeah.
But that was I don't shut up in that thing. I'm trying to ask Travis a question. I'm not letting him answer.
Yeah.
It's a very, very annoying one. Okay, so question for you. So Travis walking the course tomorrow
at the U.S. Open,
the US
LACC,
Open.
Los Angeles Country Club, right there in Century City.
You walked the course yesterday.
Tommy and I did. Tommy, of course, the head of the Funny Games department.
Yep. So the chances, because Travis is like, I'm getting there at 7 a.m. I'm going to be there for the first, when everybody tees off in the morning. I think they tee off at 7:30. He's like, I'm going to be there all day, and I want to walk the entire course because he's never been there before.
Nobody's ever been there before. Unless you remember somehow. Or
Unless
you
you remember somehow.
Or you've got connections like John Ireland.
Okay, with all that being said, how's Trav getting through the course?
Now, I believe he's on a ticket, which means he's not a media credential. So you don't have the media center to go and chill and rehydrate.
Oh, that is a vital piece of information.
For a man of Travis's build, like my build,
yeah.
The media center becomes your safe haven.
You need it.
You go in there for an Uncrustable, a water,
sure,
and you get to use the restroom. You get to towel off. You get to kind of go, hey, we got.
He'll put an Uncrustable in his back pocket.
No, you got to eat those cold, baby. You can't go a hole or two with those. I think it'll be melted in your back pocket and ruining your day.
When he was doing pre, half, post Laker stuff, he would stick one in his jacket pocket to have it later.
He's inside in that situation. It's regulated. You're walking around outside on a golf course.
A little warmer.
You never know,
And
especially with the way that your legs are moving. Heat, friction. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, yeah, he's got to wear pants, by the way. You can't wear shorts.
Oh, it's one of those?
So is he basically rocking gear as if he's going to play golf?
You have to. You have never seen in one area more quarter zips on people not playing golf.
Yeah,
it is.
no.
So here's what I would say.
Count
It's
me
amazing to be there. It's obviously a major, which I've been to a major once before, but being at majors isn't a normal thing in my life.
Yeah.
Obviously, we go to Riv every year. Riv's crowd is a little bit more, I would say, like this radio station. I get recognized a lot at Riv, not to pull the Clinton Yates, but a lot of listeners
Happens
go to
every day.
Riv. Here, no, I said early on to Tommy, there's no chance anybody's recognizing us.
Let's just say they're way outside of our weight class.
Very corporate build. I did see the great Craig from Craig's, who I do know. So I said, "Hey, Craig, what's going on?" He just looked at me like, "Why are you here?"
That's humbling. That is humbling. So when you walked the course yourself.
Yeah.
What as far as most, and I'm not saying this to knock, I'm saying this because I know walking courses is hard. As far as biggest athletic outputs you've made in the last year of your life, where did it rank? Because I can imagine walking 18 at a course nobody's ever seen is pretty high.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I walk a lot. I mean,
Okay.
I take the train, which means we're walking every day back and forth.
Okay.
But it was an effort. It was a good workout. How about
Okay.
that?
All right.
Okay. All right. Anytime you can throw down 17,000 steps.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that's
a
a
good
big
gauge.
day.
That's a lot of
Trav
of moving
wearing
around.
Vans, or what's he wearing?
I would not wear Vans.
You'd go spikes.
So today I was going to possibly go this morning, and I wore golf shoes. Because yesterday I was in Nikes that aren't running shoes. They're just normal.
I thought you were going to wear
Right.
dress shoes. I thought you were going to wear exactly what you wore
Cowboy
to
boots.
Mandy's.
Yeah.
The whole getup.
But yeah, if you wear Vans, your feet, he's going to be in trouble tomorrow. And again, he's got to be in pants. Cannot wear shorts.
And he doesn't stretch.
He's not a stretcher. And
So
here's
there's
the
a
other thing.
combination.
Wait, are you not allowed to wear shorts?
Not
I just
allowed.
saw someone wearing shorts on screen right now.
Is it a player?
It's someone in the crowd.
Ah, well, I don't know.
Maybe they know somebody.
Maybe he'll see through.
Somebody's kid.
You're also not allowed to stretch.
Yeah.
Because that was
Turns
a
out.
big thing yesterday. That don't wear shorts. That was on all the ticketing and everything.
Damn, man.
Now maybe that was more a media thing.
Yeah, I see
Perhaps.
multiple people wearing shorts.
Perhaps.
Yeah, it must be media.
Because I would say
Yeah.
there's no way you can get away with a major in California in June and not let people wear shorts.
So maybe
Well,
it
it's
was
cloudy.
It was just for our credit. But here's the other thing. So you think it's cloudy, right? You put on a quarter zip and you go, okay, it's not going to be too bad. And after walking half
Hot
a
as
hole,
hell. I was
gonna say,
you're like,
yeah.
oh my god,
Dying
it's so
out there.
humid. Where's the hydration station?
No, that's rough. So the thing is that people don't realize this. The media centers at golf courses are like, you see these guys that cover golf. They're sitting in the media center, Slee. They're not out here beating
Yeah, I've never
the
been.
They're
I've
not
never
out
been
here
to a-
beating the bushes. They're just looking at a bunch of screens. You walk it once, so you know what you're looking at. But it's
And
not
then
like
after
guys who
that-
cover golf are out there walking pace for pace with anybody on a bag. Not even close.
And I ran in yesterday in the media center. It was like my moment. I saw Daniel Rappaport, of course, from Golf Digest, who was featured in full swing. It's like, hey, man, big fan. It's like, bro, what's going on? Bring it in. I was like, oh. I guess because I had a credential.
Oh,
and he
Matthew
figured,
Stafford.
Yeah. No, I was like, oh, bro, full swing too? He's like, it's going to be outrageous, man. It's like, okay, man, have a good day.
So the crowd is, you said,
That was
very
like me with Woj.
Although
the
I
same
think
thing.
Rappaport's a little cooler than Woj, but yeah.
You said the crowd is very corporate.
Very
does that
corporate.
mean people aren't getting after it, or does that just mean
No.
that you didn't fit in with those that were doing it their way?
I can tell you this, and I said this to Tommy, I've never walked through a crowd and smelled more booze.
Oh,
Like
damn.
everyone's got beer breath.
Wow.
Everybody was feeling good. Now, again, yesterday is practice day where everyone's just kind of loose.
sure.
Today may be different.
No, probably won't be.
No.
There's
You have
also
to-
a Roots Chris concession stand. I wasn't able to get close enough to send Travis
A
a,
little
picture.
flyby
you hear
prime
that?
rib. I mean, as you do for the table, as you do.
Hang on.
A concession
tent.
stand?
Yeah, like
That's-
a tent.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, that's
This
that's
is a
solid.
life I'll never know.
Okay, so
By the way, then you just go across the street to the Century City Mall, the Westfield. You got everything you want there.
I love that mall, by the way. It's my
Great
favorite
mall.
Favorite mall in LA.
Go down the street, there's Little Carmine's on Little Santa Monica right there. That's the
Wait.
nephew of Carmine in New York. And by the way, everything there for the
the
table.
Century City, is this the one that has the Eataly?
Outdoor, yeah,
Yeah.
buddy. It's got the Eataly.
Damn.
It's got the outdoor setup. They've got that little.
You ever gone into the Eataly?
Yeah, I have.
What
Oh,
the hell is
Eataly
that?
is
What is that
fantastic.
place? Why leave?
I
I could literally stay there breakfast, lunch, and
sweet.
dinner.
The AMC is great too. There, it's really massive.
You better believe that if there's an Eataly in the city and I'm in the city, I go to the Eataly.
That thing is-
This is on the
the hell
list.
is
It's
that
one
thing?
of those things. There's one in Vegas that's a pretty nice one.
Yeah.
There's a couple good ones in New York.
And
Remember
people
when
that actually like grocery shop there, like this is the groceries they're getting. Like, what is that?
Unbelievably bougie.
No, when I see people buying wine there just for the week, it's like, really?
Right.
Yeah. We just eat some pasta for the week.
That to
I'm
me
getting a
is-
slice of pizza or a sandwich, and I'm out of
That's
it.
I'll sit and eat at Italy every once in a while. It's a nice experience.
Good coffee too.
Do you remember when we did the evening with at the restaurant over there? I think it was your partner.
It wasn't my partner.
like
I know it's not-
2017.
Is this with Jeannie and Luke?
Yeah.
What was the place? What was the place called? It was a Greek restaurant, wasn't it?
I can't think of the name.
I can't think of it as well.
But it brings back memories of that night when you weren't even a thought yet to be on the radio, and now look at you.
I was already doing Lakers talk.
Were you really in 2017?
Yeah. Whoa. We're not just going to come in here and step all over the host of the year's
Lakers has been on for like 7 years now.
Really?
Over 7 years, I think.
Oh,
that's a long time.
Softball coming.
Yes.
Okay.
All-Star Friday night.
So, do we know how we're doing this? Because
So, by the way, just as a heads up,
Yeah.
we are potentially moving the date 1 week so that there could be more teammate participation.
Yeah, there's some
because we
conflict
realized
states,
it was a
yep.
little light, and we don't want to put on a bad show.
No. Okay, so we may move the date
to Friday, July 14th at the West Covina Sports Complex.
Do we know yet how we're doing this?
Well, I guess this just broke out yesterday while I was on the course.
Okay,
trying to find out where Brooks and his fiancée Jenna were. I'm getting text about, hey, it's Team Cappy's going away. It's going to be Team Slee.
So I got
So first you take Host of the Year away from him. Now you take his team.
Maybe that's how that goes. It should be like it's like a bowl game.
Could
slot.
be that.
If you get second in the
if
SEC,
we ever take it away from Mace, he'll. I mean, literally, we had to arrange him to get a Super Bowl ring for everything to be calm.
I did not know
Damn,
that.
that's a good trade off right there.
That's funny.
No, we didn't arrange it. But I think O'Shea knew he needed a little something to get through the summer, or we weren't going to see Mace till September
Have we
9th.
considered picking teams on site?
I think it's got to be.
What did we do last year? I don't remember.
Well, then people's feelings are going to get hurt because then they're not going to get picked. As in, I probably won't get picked, and I'm going to get my feelings.
No. I think no. Hold on. Let me explain this once
take
again.
them early.
Let me explain this once again. Yeah, from the camp counselor standpoint, you don't just pick as captains. What you do is you pick, and the person you picked makes the next pick. That's how you do that to
So
make
Survivor style.
right? So that you make sure that you don't like stack it with your friends or whatever it may be. It's an idea. It's an idea.
How did we do it last year? I don't remember.
We just determined.
I don't remember
and then
either.
We played based on that. The
I don't
reason
remember
know
either.
that is
But
because
I do think there is something about if Mason's one of the captains, right? So we do some type of okay, he takes whoever, I take whoever, do it on air, something along those lines to fill up the roster. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. And you don't do it with just two people picking because that way it does get into that favoritism thing that Emily talks about. But if I say, hey, I'm picking Taylor, I'm not only picking Taylor for what I think he can bring on the field, I'm picking Taylor because of who he's going to pick next as well.
We should do it snake draft style. I can't get up there.
It's coming up at noon.
The snake draft?
snake draft.
Thank you, Taylor. I don't think I can get up right there. I don't think the voice is.
No, you could do it.
It's a snake. I can't.
Oh yeah, it's the elevator's not going to the top floor right now.
No, we're at like number 7.
Okay,
You gotta protect it.
So we
You got to
gotta
protect the pipe, Slee.
We got to figure out. We'll figure that out for us. Yeah, because Cap and Sedano were telling me, Cap was trying to make a decision whether to play for my team or for Mason's team.
Again.
And then I told him, I'm like, Cap, we lost last year. Let's run this thing back.
Sure.
Let's go try to get a W. And then he said he was going to let me know. And then I said, I need to know by close of business Friday.
So let me get
CLB.
this
That was
straight.
our last
To quote Cappy, let me get this straight. No, but that seems so. He's the one who wants to defect as the captain. That seems untoward.
By the way, I know this isn't
I
the
wanna
U.S.
run it
Open leaderboard time, but we've got breaking news.
Oh.
Okay.
At the number one on the leaderboard. It's been a long time since Ricky Fowler was leading a major. Jack through 10. Of course, he started on the back. He is 4 under.
Okay.
I'm excited. It's been since like 2015 that we could get excited about Ricky playing in something.
Ricky with an IE,
Woohoo.
never to be forgotten.
From the IE.
This music, by the way, you
Look
know
at
what
that.
this music
We didn't even
is?
plan that.
This music is like
It's motivational.
lover in Downton Abbey era riding a horse onto illegal lands to find somebody that they're not supposed
Yeah,
to
a little
find.
Bridger chick.
That's where we are with
When
that.
I picked it this morning, I was like, you know what? This makes me feel like I'm on a horse riding in to give a U.S. Open leaderboard update.
I like
Also, Southern California native Max Homa is tied for 6th.
I
So
am-
we got that.
I am so excited. The other guy, I couldn't find him, but on Saturday when we go to do social media, hi, Max. You know, because I was this close. We had him on the show, remember?
Yeah.
We got yelled at for that, but we had him on the show. from Valencia,
Where
from
do
the Valley.
golfers rank for you, Chris, in terms of athletes you like the most? Like as
Yeah,
human
you sound
beings?
more excited
You're pretty
about
pumped
that
about this.
than I've heard you
Yeah,
about any
like you've
other
mentioned
sport.
multiple names with multiple
I'm a
vigor.
golfer.
Okay, all right. That's
So
good to
you're
know.
excited.
I get excited about Dave Roberts choking in the playoffs because it's just what he does.
Gutless.
Yes.
And consistent.
NFL, we kind of have to be fans of everything.
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. You know
But
how I
you're
feel.
a hooper. You're a basketball player.
I have
you
a
know,
very
Scotty.
love-hate thing with the Lakers. I enjoy the hope and fear.
Sure.
It all works. So when LeBron scores and breaks the record, that's an amazing night. Watching it back at the Mandy's where you see John calling it, and then we made a slight edit
hail.
there.
The new king in town.
It was amazing. But I also like the fear part where it all crumples down.
So you see Lonnie Walker out on the streets. Do you get excited?
No, but if I see Max home, I'm like, hey, Max, so what's going on?
Very
What's
excited.
going on? But I'm a golfer. Now, Tiger, of course, will always be number one to me.
Okay.
But these young Brooks, Ricky was like my second.
Yeah.
After Tiger, Rookie was the first one to like make me root for somebody
Whose
else.
neck at the station would you step on to get past in order
Everybody.
to have a drink or a dinner with, let's just say, Ricky Fowler?
Everybody.
Is everybody
No,
on the list
but
there?
Brooks to hang out just 1 hour with
Brooksy.
Brooksy
You
and
take
Jenna
everybody out.
and the whole crew,
Yeah.
and like I have to put my Barstool Sports T-shirt on to be like, "What's up, bro?" I'm in.
That makes sense.
Brooks, by the way, certainly the golfing ambassador of the handsome man community, just to be clear about that.
You think so?
Brooks Koepka is a great-looking man.
And
Ask any woman you know.
And he's got a little pouch in front, which I like.
yeah.
He's not all cut up.
No.
He's having a good time.
Not like some of these other guys.
On the PGA Tour, none of these guys are cut up. That's not.
Well,
He's a
but
meathead.
They're just skinny.
That's a different
They're just
story.
skinny.
Yeah, that's a
But
good
it
point.
changed, Aren't they much better now than they were before Tiger?
Oh, yeah, sure. As opposed to the slop,
but he
the
tried
slop
to-
jobs that were hanging around on the
Yeah.
courses in the 80s, of course.
But Brooks is a man.
Yeah.
Brooks can pick you up with one arm.
Brooks
and
can dunk a basketball on your head. Like
I would
facts.
pay him to.
Yeah.
That real story. He can dunk.
Yeah, Brooks
He's
is a
also very like
great athlete.
Jokic-y, where he's like,
Yeah.
I golfing is what I like, but it's not all
Right,
I do
what I
kind of
love.
thing, you know?
We
Yeah.
love Brooks in this household.
Okay, Kendrick Perkins had a prediction that a little interesting on a Laker front. I want to play it, and it's less to do with if this prediction is going to happen. It has more to do with how many different guards we're talking about other than the guard that the Lakers actually have. We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa, 710 ESPN.
I don't know if you guys have seen this. So it's Denver Nuggets parade time right now. So
By the way,
yeah,
parades and like generalized parade live feeds, some of the best sports content you can watch.
Always
Just
fun.
Peeping the people at the function.
Totally. So KCP, former Laker, champion twice over. So he was on the bus, and someone was challenging him to a chug off.
Oh.
Got down off the bus, chugged a beer with his fan, beat the fan in the chug off, and then smashed the can on the ground and went back onto the bus.
Wow.
So
even gave some love to the fan.
Exactly.
Little hug, something
It's
like that.
great.
Like it was it's a nice little connection.
yeah,
there.
so I don't know if you've seen the video, Clinton. I don't know you've seen
I've
the
not.
video, Al. I think that Travis could definitely take KCP down. I think Travis could take down again most people.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. KCP is a different animal than, let's just say, Andy Kamenetsky. Only in regard of if it ever gets to a point where Travis and KCP are in the same place doing a chug-off, that's a pretty high-stakes affair. Now, skill, again, this is a factor, and I think AK lost a lot to this factor to Trav. AK, obviously, he's not the beer chugger that Trav is, but there was a stage element that I think made him a little bit more nervous. I don't think that's going to be a big issue with Trav, but if it's going to be an issue against anybody, it's going to be against an NBA champion basketball.
I almost feel like it
Yeah.
has to be. You got to get somebody Travis's size or bigger.
Yeah, it doesn't like
I need.
I mean, KCP is probably comparable enough.
No,
I guess that's
100%.
true.
But that's a good comp. That's like a. When I say good comp, isn't like his height, this, that.
You don't think KCP has any lines that could get Trav off his game? He couldn't say something to him that would throw him off early? If he dies kind of situation? You know?
Yeah, he might be able to play that card.
I mean, you know what I'm
I
saying?
think he plays that card.
I don't know. This is an older video of Klay Thompson chugging at a Dodger game when he was watching his brother Trace play, and chugged very slowly. And Travis could also beat him too. So
yeah, Klay took 30 minutes.
The ultimate beer
and,
chug on.
That's the only thing Klay and I have in common.
The ultimate beer chug on camera, of course. And I said this. I remember.
Was this at the Bucks game where some of these like linemen were taken down?
Those are givens. When big fat guys are chugging beers, that's fine. But I remember when Baker Mayfield was first signed by the Browns, and he was at a Cleveland baseball game, and they put him on the big screen, and he looks at the screen, points at his guy, his apparent designated beer chucker, who then flipped him a beer that he popped open and chugged immediately. I was like, what a leader!
Yeah,
they're going to the Super Bowl.
Those look like vets.
Like
those are guys.
I could not believe he had a guy on hand, off camera, that he had the presence of mind to check down to when the close-up came to him on the big screen at a baseball game. Alas, that didn't work out, and he ended up coming here and playing one of the best games of his career. But
at a beer yesterday, it took me 48 minutes.
I love Baker Mayfield ever since that moment. Ever since then, I was like, this guy's awesome.
So I promoted this, and I want to play it. I think, Taylor, you have it, right? This is Kendrick Perkins yesterday on NBA Today.
This was a graphic, actually.
Yeah,
where
we don't have the sound on it. We
All
just can say what he said.
Host of the year, by the way.
So Kendrick Perkins on NBA Today.
It just got through to him.
And I also love saying NBA Today yesterday.
Sure. Yesterday's NBA Today.
Actually, I heard Sedano say it yesterday. NBA Today, earlier today. He made a prediction. I don't really care as much about the actual prediction that he made, but I think it says something about the Lakers situation with their point guard.
All
right. So, he said Kendrick Perkins on NBA Today yesterday predicted that James Harden would end up with the Lakers. James Harden would. Okay? I don't even think you need to look too deep into that. I don't think we have to sit here and say, hey, would Harden be a good fit for the Lakers? And how would they make the cap work? And would Harden take a discount to come play for the Lakers? I don't even need to get into all that. But let me just throw these names at you. Okay? James Harden, Chris Paul, Fred VanVleet, Kyrie Irving. Those are 4 point guards that have all been in some shape, way, or form associated with the Lakers, as in should the Lakers go after that person? Hey, if CP3 gets waived.
Mill has them on the go.
And I think there's a lot of Laker fans that are listening to those conversations. Hey, that's interesting. Fred VanVleet, hey, if he's available, wow, that'd be amazing, this, that. You know the name I'm hearing least talked about when associated with the Lakers as far as a point guard goes.
That you think should be associated with the Lakers.
That is currently on the roster is D'Angelo Russell. As in, we just keep – look at this list of point guards that comes out on a almost everyday basis, and what nobody's talking about is D'Angelo Russell.
Slate.
Yeah.
Do we have to pull up the plus minus from the playoffs, from the Nuggets series? Do we
No.
have to do that?
No, we don't have to do that.
Because here's the thing. D'Angelo Russell is a guy that, sure, he can get you to a 6 seed. He can get you to a 7 seed. But the problem is, here's the issue with losing to the eventual champions, is that people want to say, oh, well, you can at least sort of write off some level of success and imply that you were good enough to hang around with the champions. Except one thing. You didn't beat them in a single game. And if you go matchup to matchup with who the current champions are, I'm sorry. D'Lo doesn't make that list for me if you expect to make a jump to the championship level based on what happened against, the actual champions. That's why he's not on that list to me. There's too much of a known as opposed to what was once referred to in American politics as the unknown unknowns versus the unknown knowns. He's a known that's not a champion.
I'm going to play something out for you, and this could very well happen. And it doesn't have to be the Lakers' top priority, but this could just happen this way. Fred VanVleet signs somewhere else. Chris Paul ends up with a different team. James Harden goes back to Houston, and Kyrie Irving is a Dallas Maverick.
Right.
All those can happen. And D'Angelo Russell's back on the Los Angeles Lakers. That could very easily happen. No. And that's the only reason why I'm mentioning it is this is probably a little bit too – it's a little too honest, frank, however you want to put it, maybe a little too harsh. I don't see D'Lo as a winning player. That's just not – I don't look at D'Angelo Russell as a winning type of player. Somebody that if I'm on the floor, I find ways to win. I might not have a good shooting night. Maybe I'm struggling. Maybe I got too many turnovers. But when I'm on the floor, I find ways to win. I don't think that is associated with D'Angelo Russell. That's me personally. But the Lakers don't have control of all these other players and some of the decisions they make. They don't have control of – if they do a sign-and trade for D'Angelo Russell, you need another team to want D'Angelo Russell.
Yes, exactly.
So that's not under the Lakers' control. What the Lakers could very easily end up with starting next year is D'Angelo Russell. And I do think this. I think the Lakers, there was a lot of kind of chatter and conversation that the regular season doesn't matter. Well, Denver ended up winning the whole thing.
Oh, it mattered to them.
It was a number 1 seed. They got to kind of kick back the last couple of weeks of the regular season. They took out the Lakers in 4, and while Miami was going 7, they got to kick back and let the Heat kind of battle the Boston Celtics. I think next year, if D'Lo is your point guard, which is not my first priority, but I think you got to be realistic. He could very well be the point guard for the Lakers.
Pretty high priority to me.
Starting next year. If D'Lo's there with this kind of exact same team, I think they could at least do this. They don't have to fight from behind the way they had to fight from behind at the trade deadline. They could at least be a top 3-4 seed in the Western Conference, and that's not crazy or out of the ordinary. And they could walk into the playoffs at least with they didn't have to shoot all their bullets before the playoffs even started. I don't think D'Lo is the long-term plan. Preferably for me, I wish they went a different direction, but D'Lo could very well end up on the roster.
I think there's another question, too, here, because I think you're right. Like, there is a world in which you stick with what you got, you improve, you gel, and thus you are a better team. Reminder, he didn't come to the team at the beginning of the season. This was a midseason acquisition in a quarter of an awkward situation, thrown into the fire, and it didn't exactly work out. Presumably, culture, etc., an off-season
familiarity, chemistry,
to get familiar. Presumably that could work and he could improve. Here's the issue for me, though, and I'm not going to say this is unaddressed, but it's still very weird. Dude, they drafted this guy, and then they got rid of him, and then he came back. Like, is he ever going to really feel like this is the franchise that truly wanted him for said development to actually occur? Do you see what I'm saying? If you say...
Problem is, he hasn't been anywhere where anybody has really wanted him.
I get that, and that's what my point is. If that franchise does pop up, maybe that motivated winning D'Lo you've never seen just can't happen here because of the way that it's all gone down. And I'm not trying to take away anything from him. If LeBron and AD can say, hey, buddy, we got a shot here.
Yeah.
Figure it out, run these hills with us, or whatever it is they do to Bond, okay. But if there's a lingering element of, y'all didn't want me anyhow, I'm only back here because the way the deals worked out. I'm going to ball out and leave, which is reasonable in today's NBA.
Well,
I don't know that growth of D'Lo is even capable of happening.
If there was a year for that to happen, wasn't it this last season?
I think so.
Because he was on a contract
Yes.
year. He was kind of looking for his next destination, whether it was going to be the Lakers or not. He cost himself some money in the playoffs.
I agree, and the plus-minus was just bad enough where you thought to yourself,
No, you
what
couldn't
is
put him in.
What are you doing on the floor?
We wanted
Right.
Dennis Schroeder in there, and a guy that was basically playing, getting paid the league's minimum.
If D'Lo is the starting point guard on next year's basketball team, I will consider that a disappointment from the front office of the Lakers. Now, I'm not saying it's a failure.
Yeah.
There are gradations. There is neutral. There is, there is surprising. There is plus. But there is also disappointing, and there's also a failure. I would consider it disappointing if he was still the starting point guard on the team with no real other option for not just the future, but even just as a,
I would say if
backup.
he's the starting point guard, then watch out for that trade deadline. If things are not going right, that you have him under contract and you try to make some type of move before the trade deadline.
The idea of keeping people just to get rid of them is the whole reason why this roster is a disaster right now to begin with. Look at your Nuggets. Look at your Nuggets. Roster construction is arguably the most important thing in the NBA these days.
But the problem is D'Lo's not. I think we both just made an argument that he's not the solution. But you'd rather have him on your roster than not have him on your roster.
But now we're caught in this cycle of deals before anybody even gets the chance to do anything. And this is what gives me such a headache about thinking about the Lakers'
there's no
future.
building.
There's no building. There seems to be no foundational laying. There seems to be this
how
idea.
it's been since Bron's been here.
Yeah, but I mean, at least they won something. My point is that's how it's been for a longer time than Bron's been here. And before the time that Bron was here, it didn't work either. You know what I mean? And at some point, and this is sort of a separate aside, forget about the Lakers. What I like the most about the Nuggets, the rich, creamy nougats, as we used to call them back in the 90s SportsCenter era, they built a team, and I'm not going to say it was pure, it was more right, or anything like that, but because the judgment versus other teams isn't the point. It's about for what they plan to do themselves. They executed it. They could have given up on a Jamal Murray when he got hurt and said, somebody maybe take him off our hands because we don't know if he's going to come back the way he did. When MJP was having back problems left and right, you never know what could happen. They said, no, this is our plan. We're going to stick with it. We're not going to pull a Sacramento Kings and fire Mike Malone just because we think that, the color of his tie on a Tuesday doesn't work. They stuck with the plan, and eventually it worked out. I wish to God
11:45. 11:45. Let's hit on that because I don't completely agree with that. I think different teams have to take certain strategies. They took the strategy that they should take. We do that at 11:45. Coming up next, we got Factor Cap. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Yates in for Travis Rogers, 710 ESPN. All right, the U.S. Open is back in L.A. to celebrate. Trav and I are giving fans a chance to win the ultimate luxury experience to Pacific Palms Resort. The winner wins a $50 gift card to Red Restaurant and qualifies for the grand prize. How about this for a grand prize? A 2-night stay at Pacific Palms Resort, 2 rounds of golf, and dinner at the Red Restaurant. Pacific Palms Resort, LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort. Book your next getaway at PacificPalmsResort.com. Listen for the cue to call.
The biggest show. Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back. First of all, it's not a cap. It's
it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, a little behind the scene thing. So we have essentially what is Red Zone, but for golf up on all the TVs.
We are quad boxing the golf,
which is just kind of crazy to me because it's just like instead of a touchdown every second, it's just someone putting a putt in.
I thought you should know.
Yeah?
Yesterday on Around the Horn, the buy or sell bit was dubbed Factor Cap. I'm fairly certain.
Interesting.
Wow.
I'm fairly certain. I wasn't even on the show yesterday, so I don't know how this happened. I will have backstory to fill in demain as to how that went down.
It's okay. I mean,
Sounds
I don't
like
own it.
litigation coming.
I mean, lawsuits out the yin yang.
It's not Mandy Award winning, so it's up for everybody else what they want to do.
Just saying.
All right, so last night, the Nationals manager was really upset about a call in the game last night. So it was Dave Martinez. In his post-game press conference interview thing, printed out a photo of the final play of the game and showed it to people like, this isn't good and all. Anyway, it's a long rant, but it was really funny and it made me laugh. But it also made me think, you don't remember the last time you printed something out that wasn't for work. Like, I don't own a printer anymore. So you don't know the last time you printed something out that wasn't for work. Al, Factor Cap?
Cap. So this one is kind of, I guess, partially work. I had some stuff. It's not necessarily here for 710, but I had stuff that I needed to print and then scan and then send it out to somebody so they had a copy and I had a copy of it. I was at Kinko's. I'm like, this place still exists? Yep, still exists.
But you don't own a printer in your home?
My girl uses the printer every once in a while. Randomly, she uses a printer. We have a printer at home. I don't use it, but she uses it every once in a while. So no, we do have a printer at home. Even when I was on the business side, you're using that printer all the time. You're printing out presentations, whatever. The case is.
Wow.
Yates?
I've forgotten the specific question, so I'm going to say
you
fact.
don't remember the last time you printed something out that wasn't for work.
That's a fact. And I'm considering personal business of documents work too. If I'm printing out a lease, that's work. Okay.
Yeah, or something
saying?
for the DMV.
Yeah, that's work as far as I'm concerned. But I do also own a printer because, hello, I'm a millennial. And
of course.
Is it sitting in a box in my house? Absolutely. Collecting dust?
Yep.
Have I printed 3 total things on it? Yeah.
Yeah,
but
just
I
in case
got
you need
it.
to MapQuest it somewhere.
I mean, and I might have to go beat it up in a parking lot somewhere
I love
someday
the MapQuest reference.
just to let out some aggression. So I own one. It just gets 0 run in my house.
Taylor?
Cap, I do remember the last thing that I printed, but I don't own a printer, so I went to a FedEx or UPS store and something like that. But it was my insurance card. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I actually have that on my Apple ID nowadays, so I don't need to use that. But I remember just the
Taylor.
the anxiety.
What if you're in an area with no Wi-Fi?
You don't need Wi-Fi to access your Apple Wallet.
Oh.
Anyway,
point.
yeah. But I remember the anxiety I had when I would drive with my dad somewhere and we printed off the MapQuest directions and it's to my soccer tournament in Richmond or whatever, and I missed an exit and it's all on me and we don't know how to get back. Oof.
So,
anxiety.
Okay. I mean, I could talk about this for 20 years, which is the art of personal map reading and cartography has gone through the basement in this country.
Because we don't need it.
No, again, it's not about the need necessarily, as it's about I don't even know what to call it. That's why I called it an art. I was driving somewhere the other day, and I was with the lady friend, and she said, this is the turn. And I said, well, which one is it? And she said, and she said the name of the turn. I said, look at the map because there's 4 roads here. Mm-hmm. And if you look, and I wasn't mad at her. I was just saying, hey, look at the map. No. I meant this. I meant look at the map as in don't just read what it says at the top. Show me the vector beyond what is telling you to do and what the other options are so I know. Map reading is not as easy as it looks. And so when you get into the habit of only following vectors, you don't actually know how to read a map. You're just following the AI. You know?
Yeah, I'm lost.
I liked reading maps. You got to know your side route. You got to know what's going on in case something goes wrong.
Got to pull out a compass.
No, compass.
I know where you're going.
For what it's worth, I have no idea how to use a compass. Great, it tells me north. There's still 9,000 trees in front of me and a bear that's sneaking up on me from behind. What's a compass going to do? Anyway.
All right, so this was a conversation amongst my friends and I at our trivia last night. So we're talking about a different friend of ours that happens to be in an open relationship and how that's working.
Wow.
So you would be okay with an open relationship. Let's start with Yates.
At this stage of my life, no. That's just not going to work. Too many people know who I am, and that just would not work well for my social circles. I don't think it's a moral thing. I just don't feel like dealing with that with the rest of the society. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
It's more just because of notoriety, less because of jealousy.
I don't care who eats food off of other people's plates. That's never been something that's bothered me. I just don't want to have to argue with you about what my dish drawer looks like in my own house.
Gotcha. All right, Al?
I'll go cap on this, and it has much more to do with, that's not going to work with your relationship. I think I'm assuming here, and I will not be trying it anytime soon, I'm assuming here that it might sound all great and dandy. At some point, there's going to be a time where you're saying to yourself, what the hell is going on here? I'm going to go cap on this.
You're more of a traditionalist.
Not okay with an open
Let me ask you something,
Yeah?
Em. And I don't mean to get in this person's business, and if this is going to give it away amongst your friend groups, don't say it. But
what is
this
their
a
name
traditional? Yeah, no. Is this a traditional, for lack of a better term, hetero cisgendered situation between man and woman, or where are we? Because once you move outside of that rubric, things get a little looser in terms of what's acceptable to most people. If we're being honest, you know what I mean? Look at some of these places, and I'd just say churches down south. You know what I mean? Like things kind of loosen up if you get outside of the standard traditional setup.
It is. Two bisexual people, a man and a woman, but they're both bisexual. So it's very interesting.
You're already open to a certain amount of degree of what we're doing.
So
anyway.
this isn't that much different.
Yeah.
I mean, not really.
Kind of opening the door there.
Taylor?
Cap, not for me personally. I wouldn't be okay with it. I think, if your partner brings that to you, then the relationship is probably already.
Yeah, it's probably done.
You got to play that song. What's the new one by The Weeknd? If you're creeping, I don't want to know.
Was The Weeknd here?
No. He's
All
not.
right.
That guy, talk about open relationships.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so our snake draft is going to be on the best sports movies. And so yesterday I was preparing some imaging for the Open to the segment, and I wanted to do some of the best motivational speeches from sports movies, and I realized it's so deep, and it's a deep draft because almost the best parts of all these movies are this big motivational speech, height emotional point. So the best part about sports movies is the motivational speeches. Taylor, Fed or Cap?
I'm trying to think. My favorite sports movies. Well, I'm not going to list them yet.
Yeah,
obviously.
tell us. What do you have?
Don't give it away.
Give away your whole big board.
Two of them.
No, not for me. Cap.
Al?
Cap for me as well. Look, a lot of times it's just the storyline. Whatever movie that it is that you like, but if I'm into a sports movie, it's not because Al Pacino's giving a speech for a football game.
Oh, you're not? Oh, so, wow. Giving away your big board as to what will not be there.
What?
Those of you who want it any given Sunday, it is up for trade.
Great movie. Great movie. But that to me was not the storyline. That's not what I enjoyed from the movie.
You wanted Willie Beeman.
It was all the other things that made the movie. And it doesn't have to be, that's just one example. It was less to do with the speech.
Top 3 things about sports movies, in my opinion, that are not that. Number 1 is anything that has to do with looking at what people wear when they play. You know how much this matters to me in general. Uniforms or not. Looking at you, Benny the Jet in Sandlot, they actually made Converse sneakers about that, which is awesome. Number 2.
Well, on top of that, too, it's not just what you wear, but... Oh, actually, this might be on your list. Go ahead.
Number 2 is how people that are teammates talk to each other. That is the most interesting thing to me about sports movies is what is the interaction? Forget the coach. What is the interaction like between the two humans who play? And the third thing that is almost more important than anything for me in sports movies is what does the actual gameplay look like? There's reasons why certain movies will never make my top list because the gameplay is just too unrealistic and stupid for me to take it seriously.
I was going to mention that because Trav always talks about if
It's
you got a
huge.
guy playing quarterback in a movie and can't throw the ball probably shouldn't be playing quarterback in the movie.
Exactly. And that is the kind of thing where after you've been around athletes for a certain amount of time, you notice it immediately and it's bothersome. You're like, I can't watch this. These idiots don't know what they're doing. So that's my level of importance on sports movies. By the way, the way that I'm going with my strategy for Snake Draft, like I said, I'm going off the dome, and I'm just going to pick one of all the 4 major sports.
Okay. Giving a little away, but it's fine. Also, only 3 picks, so.
What?
Yeah.
There's 4 of us.
There's 12 picks. It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
Oh!
Yeah, because then we got...
we went 4 for 4 in the greatest draft of all time, the Bear draft. What happened?
It took too long.
And Mason and Ireland start at 112. So, I mean, we're going to go to like 145 if we each get 4.
Fine.
Okay.
This is through trial and error of doing.
I'm not knocking it. This is your baby.
All right. So one last thing. So Jack in the Box released their Snoop Dogg sponsored Munchie box. So it includes a crunchy taco, a fried chicken sandwich, curly fries, and a brownie. Okay. So you have a go-to munchie meal when you're feeling a certain way. Al, Patrick Cap.
Cap. I don't have a go-to munchie meal.
Yeah.
But that's just because it's like how I'm feeling at that moment. Like I'd rather
what's in the house,
right? Or where am I going to go, or what's going to get delivered. So I'd rather kind of
deliver
not
it to a different Thai place.
Exactly. I would rather not have a go-to simply because it's kind of just how I'm feeling. What I eat earlier. Did I eat something earlier that I don't want later on, whatever the case is? So I don't. But that specific meal that you mentioned, Snoop's little munchies, it's not a bad little combination there from Jack in the Box.
I'm with Slee on this, Cap. I mean, this is the fun part of life. Where is this going to take us? That's the wonder. It's half the reason why, by the way, I'm a reasonably good cook now. Because in high school, it was like, all right, what are we mixing up today, boys? Let's get something that we can all eat. It's not going to affect anybody's dietary restrictions. We're not going to waste a bunch of money. We're going to find out what we can do here. Got pretty good at that and eventually became a cook in college, and now I still do it just for myself. That's how it works.
Taylor, what about you?
Lately, actually, so I've been going with hard shell tacos. So a while back, we had a discussion on the show about Taco John's, and it just reminded me of hard shell tacos, and they're a thing. So I found a spot close to me, and I've been eating those.
I'm a big hard shell guy.
Hard shell tacos.
Yeah,
I have if there's any crunchy Cheetos in my home, or essentially any cheese product in my home,
gone.
It will be gone in like 60 seconds.
Now, let's be real. There are certain items that are getting obliterated immediately. You know what I mean? That's just a given, but not any sort of like cheese. I thought of that because cheese crisps. I can't keep cheese crisps in my house.
Cheez-Its back in the day. Forget it.
Cheetos,
yeah, done.
Instantly.
Just
And that is,
random
I don't
cheese.
even have to take the elevator to the top floor to crush those. That's just, you walk in the crib. Oh, there's out of here.
All right, we were talking about something right before we did Factor Cap. Different teams do things different ways.
Yes.
The way the Denver Nuggets won an NBA championship, I know you're looking at it and saying, look at the blueprint. Look what they did. Look how they did it. I want to talk about how that we cannot make what the Denver Nuggets did and how they got there, associate that specifically with the Los Angeles Lakers, how they've won championships in the past. We'll do that coming up next. Stay right here. This is the Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN. All right, we got our snake draft coming up here. Best sports movies of all time. 3 picks for everybody.
This formatting change has thrown me
threw you
way off.
Yeah.
The whole thing is the 4x4, you know.
Now you're going to have to pick
situation.
The major sports. You're going to have to take one of them out.
I'm doing this in protest. No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying.
The whole thing's under protest.
I was thrown off.
I want you to go back to what you were saying. The Denver Nuggets are in the middle of a parade right now.
Correct.
Win an NBA championship.
Correct.
A lot of people think, look, this squad's going to be around for a while here in the Western Conference. Jokic is locked up, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, KCP is locked up as well. Got a really nice team. And the way they built it is, I personally believe the way they built it was how a team like the Denver Nuggets needs to build it. Not everybody gets to the same. If you go look at previous championships, how'd they get there? It's not one way that everybody does it, and hey, that's the plan for success or that's the blueprint. But you were getting frustrated that if the Lakers re-signed D'Angelo Russell and then we decided that before the trade deadline, you know what, there's a better point guard out there, maybe more of a vet that will fit better. Bam, you change the roster again. You were trying to make your point about the Nuggets.
Roster continuity for the sake of roster continuity is not what I think is the goal here. But if you have talent evaluators in your front office that believe in their own decisions, and you have an ownership group that believes in the ability of the talent evaluators and the coaches to develop said group, it is easier to get to a product, I think, that is a championship level than by constantly having balls in the proverbial air that you are juggling in an attempt to get to a championship level. That being said, I get it. That's not the way the Lakers do things. But this is a different NBA, and here's why that matters, Steve. It's for 2 reasons. Number one, the league is better now. There are more human beings that are excellent at basketball than there were back when this model of let me pluck a generational star and figure the rest out later was operational. They got lucky with it because LeBron Raymond James, the biggest generational star of said generation, decided he wanted to be a part of that Lakers system. It worked. That's not really a thing like that anymore. Who even is that guy who would be available if you wanted to say, bring the next star here and we'll just roll out the balls again? It's not about the Lakers system not working for the context of what it is. It's about the rest of the league. They're not playing like that anymore. Nobody's giving you things for free. It's not going to work that way. And I wouldn't have an issue with the Lakers sticking with how they've done things for so long if it were effective. However, with the declining and retiring of potentially within 4 years, 3 years, LeBron James, you better be able to identify that guy, and you better hope he likes L.A. And not just because you think they care about the daggone posters on the wall, but because the actual organization is committed to keeping them. Those are not the same thing.
So I think it's tough to look at the Lakers 3-4 years down the road. Because to be honest with you, I don't think I could look at the Lakers a year down the road.
That's the issue.
But it's also only because LeBron's on your team. And I think what you're talking about is it's the right long-term approach. It's really difficult to do that with Bron. When he's 38 years old, about to be 39, and even the last couple of years, they made a mistake on Russell Westbrook. They had to go change the roster at the trade deadline.
Sure.
You understand that. But that was based off of a mistake they made earlier.
Right.
So they had to correct that mistake. The roster moving forward is, hypothetically, for me, we just talked about how we both view D'Angelo Russell.
Right.
I don't see him as this, hey, this is a guy that I want to see on the Lakers rocking a Laker jersey for the next 3, 4, 5 years. That's my own personal opinion. Some people might disagree with that. If the Lakers had to bring D'Angelo Russell back because there really wasn't, first off, he's not a terrible option. I just don't think he's the option that's going to put you in front of the Denver Nuggets.
No.
Simple as that, right? I don't think he's going to be a difference maker in a series trying to get to the NBA Finals. But if you got to bring D'Lo back and then an opportunity comes when you're playing next year and a veteran point guard is available and that veteran point guard you think could be the difference of getting past the Nuggets or some of these other teams in the Western Conference, I don't think that's the end of the world either.
I don't either. But what I'm saying is that hamster wheel, as other teams develop, as other teams change their strategy, as the talent pool widens, that hamster wheel of, well, we got our one guy, but we got to pluck this, that, and a third. If you're not the best at talent evaluation by leaps and bounds, there's just too much homogeny between the talent for that to be an effective manner. You know what I'm saying? The incentive for guys to want to stay with the Lakers has to be more than just money. And I don't know that they're at a point in the franchise right now where that's a thing. And that thing, to me, that's what's been lost with this franchise. There was a time when you got guys like, let's just say our own Michael Thompson. The pride he has in wearing a Lakers jersey, that's a different thing for the modern NBA player than it was.
What do you think it is
then.
now?
I don't know, but I think more importantly, this team needs to know what it is so that if they're looking for people that are willing to execute their mission, they can find people that are still like that or sell them on something that isn't just everything, whatever it may be. It does not appear to be contiguous. And that is an issue when you're running through coaches and when you're running through players. I mean, this roster has turned over 6 times the past 3 seasons because each offseason, each trading deadline, they basically changed the whole thing. You know what I mean? That does not foster something that I think works in the modern
Of
NBA.
all the arguments people make on the Lakers, that's the most fair one. That's the most fair one of, you know, we just talked about KCP was downing a beer at the parade in Denver.
Yeah.
KCP won another championship.
Yes.
Right? And he was on the Los
And guess
Angeles
what?
Lakers.
Guess who he lit up on the way to it? The Los Angeles Lakers. He was very much a factor in that series.
I'm okay with they've turned the roster around too much. But I think the last couple of times they turned it around, it's honestly because they made mistakes by turning around the roster.
They were fixing mistakes.
So they had to fix some of those mistakes.
I just don't know what the identity of this team is right now once you take LeBron James out of the equation. Because right now the identity is LeBron James in terms of the roster.
You see,
I see. You know who I see? I see Chris Morales. That's who I see.
We can do it now if you want.
Just saying.
We've got excitement. We've got roars at LACC.
What's happening over there?
I'm just saying. We got the quad box
It's
going.
time for a
There it
U.S.
is.
Open leaderboard update on
Get on your
710.
horse, Lee. We're
Teed
riding
up by
across the
Pinehurst
Shire.
Resort.
Stepped on the
Here's
billboard.
Chris Morales.
Thank you to Pinehurst Resort.
Sorry.
No problem. We got roars at the 123rd U.S. Open at Los Angeles Country Club. First off, we've got a hole-in-one, an ace on 15.
Come on, ace.
Matthew Pavon makes the ace. Look at that.
Gun is sticking into my hip.
The par 3 15. And Ricky Fowler is still your leader. We made it a whole hour. He is -6 through 13. He started on the back, of course. He's got 4 birdies in a row. Ricky. But you know who's sneaking up? First of all, the California boy, Xander Schauffele. He's right now number 2 under Ricky. He's -5 through 11. But Scotty Scheffler is starting to pop up. Top 5 -2. He's through 13 right now. And still to come. Don't forget, Slee. Are you excited?
Oh, come on.
Can you feel
Give me
it,
more.
Slee?
Give me more.
12:59 p.m. in about an hour. Phil will tee off with Keegan Bradley, Padraig Harrington. And then today at 1:54 p.m. I can't wait. They'll tee off on hole number 1. Brooks Koepka, Rory. They might come to blows. Although Brooks would kill him if they came to blows.
I mean,
don't do that.
You know what I
Rory.
have to say to all those guys that came back from the over there to come back on the tour. You're gutless!
Really? That was a good You're Gutless, by the way. That might be the best You're Gutless we've had, other than mine.
It is.
I really built that one up.
That was good.
That was good.
I didn't know it was coming either.
And he got the body shakes.
Thank you. That's what I learned seeing you do it live and in person
The
last time.
only
I was here.
thing that you didn't have is your chair flying
rocketing
backwards.
back and destroying everything in the studio.
That your U.S. Open leaderboard update brought to you by Pinehurst Resort. At Pinehurst, it is someone's U.S. Open every day. Visit Pinehurst.com now to plan your stay. Of course, Pinehurst will host next year's U.S. Open in 2024, which will be the 124th edition. So you want to throw me that? You want that?
The ball. Slee, I went back and I watched the tape, the film, as they like to say, and I noticed how this is. You know how like when you see a guy with a baseball, he gets his power from the hips.
Yep.
That's how you
Just
rotate
like
through
golf.
the zone.
Oh, you
right.
use it
So
in
when
the-
I saw Morales, he gets his power from low.
Well, he plants.
There's a below the table fist pump that is separate from the above the table reacts that I noticed. And I
Do you know
took
when
form
guys in college basketball?
Now, the tape you watched, was it the A shot or was it up on all 22s?
It was the A shot. I did not have the wide.
Because the on 22 feet, that'll give you the actual thrust up. It'll give you the thrust up.
We did not have all that available to us, unfortunately.
You ever seen in college basketball where guys get super excited, the crowd's going crazy, and they slap the floor and they start playing defense? They're low. Chris
Well, you know.
starts.
Yeah.
Do you
Chris
want?
starts.
base.
Do you want to wonder why I was such a great defender? Stand up for a second.
Uh-oh. This is going to get weird. All right, so Slee is standing. He's got his headphones on. Morales has cleared out a space over here. Oh, we're getting a bit of a three-point stand here. I don't really know what they're trying to position right here. Okay, he's got it. Okay, so Slee's got the ball. Oh, hand down, man down situation. This is not legal in today's NBA, but was legal in the 90s NBA. Yes, exactly. He's got an arm up on him in the low hand.
You
can't get past that. Tremendous defensive work. We're driving towards Aaron Donald. Somebody's going to break some headphones or maybe even a microphone. Oh, the turnaround. Oh, behind the back. He almost broke a light there.
That's good defense.
It is a final.
That's great defense.
Yeah, that was pretty solid.
How was that?
D.
Did you feel that defensive pressure?
My lower back.
And I might be winded, by the way.
You might have also had a couple of other defenders in the wall and the table, but you know,
trapped me in the corner.
For what you had to work with, Slee, yeah, you were locked up.
That's why I was a young Scottie Pippen at Cattell High School.
It's my fault I dribbled to the baseline. I'm with you. I'm a little winded, too.
What happened
It's
to
not
us,
good.
Slee?
So there was a point in that where it was playful, and then like halfway through,
No, he was
then
gonna,
I
I
was
could
trying to
feel
get
it.
past
it got to it.
Well, then I was trying to get
I
past
saw
it.
the look on his face. I was like, oh, this took a turn.
I'm like, I'm gonna shimmy right here.
When you feel the thrust coming back at you, you know he's serious.
Oh man, that was great. That
I need
was
an.
great.
I need like. Do we have an oxygen tent?
I don't know what we have. I don't know.
Yeah,
what we have.
that's not for me.
Snake draft coming up next.
It's a snake draft. I can't do it.
It's still there. You could do it then.
It's a
you
snake
did.
I don't really
It's
have
a
it.
snake
I don't really
draft.
have
Best
the snake draft.
sports movies of all time. We're doing that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
This Father's Day, celebrate the hero in your
Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
In honor of Bill Durham's release on this day in 1988, the Travis and Sliwa Show have a special snake draft.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Choosing their favorite sports movies of all time.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Wrong side. Left side. Wrong side.
Is this heaven? It's Iowa. Producer Emily?
All right, so we got our snake draft today.
Okay, Taylor.
We got Taylor voicing some imaging.
Okay.
Come on, Taylor.
All right.
Emily on the production too there.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Got good
Tag
stuff.
team.
Yeah. All right, so our order is going to be Alan, Emily, Clinton, Taylor, and back up and then back down again. So we have 3 picks for each. Sorry, Clinton.
It's okay. This throws off my whole strategy.
Best.
It's like going from 4 quarters to a hockey game that's got 3 periods.
Yeah, we got 3 periods.
Totally
yeah.
different situation. Anyway,
All right, Al, you
Best sports movies
you like that?
of all time. Okay, I got a question right out the gate in this one.
Oh, no wonder you're only getting 3 picks. We got questions all. No, I'm joking.
Do I?
You gotta explain. You gotta fill it out, Yates.
Can I take out a series, or so? Let me explain. With my number 1 pick in the greatest sports movies of all time, do I take the Rocky series?
Yes, you can take the Rocky as a whole series, yes.
Okay, so Rocky off the board. That is my number one pick. I'm taking the Rocky series.
All right. Okay, so this next one I'm going to pick, I am worried. So I have two that I really want to get, but I'm worried that one won't come back to me. But
Just
I'm not going
change
to
the order. Take the second
you're
and
the game
third
master.
pick.
Hey, I do a random name generator, and that's how I get the order. But this one is very personal to me. It has a series that came out on Amazon this last year that I loved, that most people didn't love, but I did. It was given to me by my grandmother. My last present from her was this movie because I played baseball at the time. So it's going to be A League of Their Own. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's one of my favorite sports movies of all time. And our guy Steve Mason's in it. And I haven't seen him in it, but I'll look for him.
I'm going to tell you this. I had actually a difficult time. It was Rocky or A League of Their Own. And
you would have picked it, I would have been so upset.
I'm not kidding. I had to pick because I knew it's not coming back to me for A League of Their Own.
God, you should.
But then Rocky would have been gone. League of Their Own is a great pick.
Every week, you should have gone for the chaos
just to make me mad.
If I'd known.
I didn't know she would take that first.
What?
How would you not know? I talk about League of Their Own
all the time.
There's so many good sports movies, you know?
It's the best one.
Okay. Well, I think everybody knows that my first pick is going to be Where Do I Live, Slee? Venice. What do I do? Talk a lot of trash. How do I look? Excellent. Obviously, White Man Can't Jump is going to be my number one pick. It's the reason why I am who I am and why I live where I live. That started back 30 years ago.
What do you think of the reboot?
Didn't watch it. How about that?
I'm not.
Sorry.
That's not happening.
I did see Jack when he was by the studio promoting it. That's not for me.
I'm with you.
Because to be fair, as much as that is a sports movie, that movie is as much a movie about Los Angeles as it is anything else, which is why it's cool. You can't recreate 90s LA, Morales. Am I right about that? You can't do it.
That's why I watch documentaries about the riots constantly.
Just not possible.
What? It was a moment in time my father was stuck in.
Right, yeah.
He's right. Anyway.
That's the riots and OJ documentaries tell you everything you need to know about the 90s.
Number one pick, White Man Can't Jump. It's pretty. It's so pretty.
All right, Taylor?
Okay.
Next two picks.
I got the next two here. These are both movies that I watched when I was a child. The Sandlot is my first pick. I don't know. It's just nostalgic for me.
Great choice.
And then secondly, Space Jam.
Also great choice.
Okay. Getting in on the animated
Space Jam.
The animated nomination.
All right, back to you, Clinton.
Back to me.
God, having the number one pick's not good.
Yeah, this throws me off now. I'm used to a second. Okay, so I'm going to go a little off the board here because this movie is not even technically my favorite movie of the sport, but I think it is a better film overall. And that's Miracle. Because my favorite scene in that movie, again, and they're just running and skating all over the ice, and finally, my man Ruzioni says, Coach, my name's Michael Ruzioni. I skate for Boston College. Who do you play for? The United States of America. That's all, boys. And he walks out, and you're like, I don't need a motivational speech. That's just called, accountability, Sleep.
This is our time.
And that's fine. But the more motivational part is when they figure out you're not playing for the name on the back of the jersey. You're playing for the name of the one on the front.
So back to your factor cap, I think the motivational speeches did get him.
Well, that's not a motivational speech, though. That's like a delayed value motivational speech, and that's not even the main motivational speech in that movie. Now, my point was, though, separately, my favorite hockey movie of all time is Youngblood. So that's separate. Okay. Anyway.
Was high on a bunch of people's lists when I was looking at it this morning. So this is the one I was worried it would get back to me. I think that it's probably one of the better sports movies just because of the acting in it is fantastic. All the actors are fantastic and have gone on to do great things, and it's headed by one of the greatest actors of his generation, and it's going to be Remember the Titans. It was in my imaging. I love the movie. It's been like on repeat in my house when I was a kid and stuff, so Remember the Titans is my second pick.
So I know why you love this movie.
Did you get both of the top two picks you wanted?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
This is can I ask a question?
Happened.
Based on all of the people you've mentioned in terms of your fandom, in terms of the people that you said are up and coming that you want people to know, Hayden Panettiere is why you like Remember the Titans from the beginning, right?
I do love, because I love a little scrappy little girl that like speaks her own mind. And as a kid, I was like, that's me. That was me watching football when I was 10 years old, trying to say whatever I wanted to say to these people and all that good stuff. But I also obviously love Ryan Gosling and his little role in it. It's great top to bottom to me.
It's called knowing your personnel right there, Slee. Reading the scouting report.
This
is the continuity the Lakers need in knowing their roster as you go into a season. While Slee scrambles for another pick.
Well, because I get the next two here. Damn, did I just end up grabbing all? Okay, well, here's the theme. One of my favorite movies of all time. I hate how this person is now perceived.
Okay.
Ali, Will Smith and Ali. With Jamie Foxx.
All right.
Is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I'll allow it.
Boxing.
And I know, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, what am I, just going all boxing theme? But it is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Boxing and gangster movies are what I would say for Al.
Yeah. He is a fighter.
Ali steps in at number 2 for me as greatest
That's your second
best
round
sports
pick.
movies all time. So the third one, this is a tough one.
Don't take it. I'm thinking we might take the same thing.
Then go for the chaos pick.
Don't take it.
I don't know if we're going to... I don't know if this is going to be the same one. I'm basically having to pick through a comedy or pick through just a really good movie that tells a full story. I'm going to go for the good movie.
Okay, cool.
At least in my own world. She's going to take the comedy. I'm going to put Moneyball as number 3 for me.
Oh, good God.
Moneyball, number 3 for me.
Good job, Slate.
Ties in the Oakland A's right now and their situation. Moneyball,
thank you for
number
taking it.
3 for me.
Also, how do you not enjoy
fictional work, Moneyball?
Sounds like Travis now. Brad Pitt eating in every scene is what makes it.
Yeah. No, Moneyball's it's great.
Also,
great
I'll tell you this. Billy Bean, real talk, arguably better looking human being than Brad Pitt.
Ooh,
like in real actual life, not even joking.
The Fighter was on my list too, but I'm like, you have 49 boxing movies. Let's get off of that.
All right. Okay, so now I'm rounding out mine with a comedy. Okay, so A League of Their Own has comedic moments, obviously, but it's more dramatic. Obviously, Ramon Titan's very dramatic. My third pick, which I thought you were going to pick, which I'm very happy. Yeah, Talladega Nights, Legend of Ricky Bobby. Yeah. It's more of a movie about comedy than it is about the actual sport. I don't care about
It's only
racing,
about the sport.
but love it. Top to bottom, amazing cast. Molly Shannon coming out of the shaking in the booths is great.
I mean, we're really pushing the boundaries.
No.
I like
Talladega, you can't go against.
Of Talladega Nights, Legend of Ricky Bobby. What happens? It is a sports movie.
No
That's
idea.
as good of a movie as I've ever seen.
Okay, fair enough.
As good of a comedy as I've ever seen.
It's a sports movie.
Yeah.
All right, Clinton.
My last pick. This is my last pick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is kind of from Morales because I'm going to describe the story a little bit. Okay. Father-son combo. Go into the same business. Revolutionize the game, and the game has never been the same in ways people don't even know. If you've never seen The Battered Bastards of Baseball, which is about Kurt Russell's father, Bing, who starts the Portland Mavericks, the first people that had brooms for sweeps, the first people that had all sorts of open tryouts just to field a squad, they were so good that Major League Baseball colluded against an independent baseball team to prevent them from winning the Pacific League Conference, and now all teams are affiliated. The Battered Bastards of Baseball is a quasi-documentary, but because Bing Russell was a movie maker, it's the best movie about baseball you'll ever see. It will make you cry. And the most fun fact, the catcher on that team invented Big League Chew.
Look at that. So if you want to watch it together, we can cry together.
It's a great film.
And by the way, thank you for making that an analogy.
But
absolutely.
Do they talk about Mountain Dew and Baby Jesus and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I think that's the main.
The thing is, it's a real movie about real life, but it reads like a movie because the guy filmed everything.
It's a real film, Jack.
Back before you did that stuff. It's great. If you've never seen The Battered Bastards of Baseball, check it out.
Taylor, round us up here.
Okay, last one for me. For my first two, I had some kids' movies, but I'm going to pick something a little more mature, star-studded film with Clint Eastwood, Hilary Swank, $1 Million Baby.
Oh, yeah, good one.
That's a classy pick. Oscar contention pick. I don't think any of the movies I mentioned there.
My nomination would have been, my honorable mention would have been I, Tonya. Love I, Tonya. Fantastically acted. Also nominated for a bunch of Oscars up there. So, and She's the Man. Also great soccer movie.
Okay, if we missed any movies, hit us up on Twitter. We did our snake draft. We do it every Thursday.
It's a snake draft. I got it. I did it.
Movies of all time. Bull Durham, the anniversary of Bull Durham came out today. So that's why this was all kind of tied in for best sports movies
none of us
all
picked
time.
it.
I just say, some of us have played baseball there. I'm just joking. I just needed to remind you.
Yeah,
wait, who? Can you tell us again?
Not me. I threw one pitch. I'm just joking.
No, I'm just smiling at you.
Are we getting on the horse again?
By the way, he talks about the father-son thing.
Yeah.
My father, created some things, but he never thought, like I thought, as the son, to play Serbian music as a rejoin on a sports radio station.
No, he didn't.
My father didn't have that kind of innovation.
Are we getting on the horses again? Do we have another update?
Do you know the story of?
Because we're getting on the horses. I have to get in position to get on the horse.
We can. We can knock it out.
Can we get another one?
Why not?
Let's go.
Give Taylor a moment.
It's time for a U.S. Open leaderboard update on 710. Teed up by Pinehurst Resort. Here's Chris Morales.
The 123rd U.S. Open is in full action, Jack, at the Los Angeles Country Club right there in Century City.
I'm riding by the guy who's got like the lanterns, but I don't need a lantern. I'm seeing with my own heart right now.
5 birdies, no bogeys for the California boy, Xander Schauffele, who is now solo in second place, but in number 1 place, first place, on top of the leaderboard from Murrieta, California, I believe. Ricky Fowler. Oh, Ricky Fowler. Why am I screwing up his name?
Oh, we hit a jump. We hit a jump, Sliwa. We're over the fence.
It's this bit that's like throwing me off a little bit.
We're in the clear.
Ricky is 6 under through 13. Of course, he started on the back, hole number 10 today. Look at the top 5. Rounding out, both tied for 4th, Bryson DeChambeau, of course, a U.S. Open champion.
Sure.
And Scotty Scheffler, both at -2. Okay. Now, here's the thing. We're waiting for Scotty to get another major. Everyone got excited.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, Scotty's the guy. And it's been underwhelming the last, 6 months.
Slee, I'm riding past the cows. She said if there's a red sash in the window, it means take another lap.
Meanwhile,
that's when I can climb
the
up.
Southern California boy, Max Homa, is 1 under through 13. He's tied for 11th. And you got to scroll down a little bit here because what's going on with Jon Rahm?
What's happening?
He's tied for 19th even. He's at even par through 12.
Not good.
Of course, started on the back as
Not
well.
good.
Horses
Don't
took
forget,
an arrow.
12:59 p.m., Phil will tee off. Then, a little bit later, at 1:54 p.m. on hole number 1, Brooksy and Rory will tee off. Your U.S. Open leaderboard update brought to you by Pinehurst Resort. At Pinehurst, it is someone's U.S. Open every day. Visit Pinehurst.com to plan your stay. U.S. Open next year at Pinehurst. That is your U.S. Open leaderboard update.
Oh, I got there, Slee. We're there safely.
Is Brooksy by far the favorite or no?
Guys throw out a lot of favorites when it's major time. I would say Brooksy,
Rory?
Don't
Okay.
No, not Rory. No chance.
No
no chance.
Not even a chance?
Not at LACC.
Yeah, I don't think. No chance is strong, but I don't. I'm in agreement with him more so than that.
And people always look to Jon Rahm when it's major time. But
Yeah.
Brooksy, all eyes are on Brooksy.
Well, there goes my pick that I had earlier.
Who'd you have?
I mean,
I told him to pick Brooks, and he went off board and trying to be funny, and he picked.
it wasn't funny. Mickelson's winning the whole thing.
By the way, I unlikely, but a
Probably
chance.
unlikely, yeah.
A chance.
All right, so look, there's
Gutless
a little
pick.
bit.
And
of
as I
chance
take
there.
a sip of official Phil Mickelson coffee with the good
Gutless
stuff, I'll go with Phil with you.
Okay.
Why not?
We'll go. We'll take that. Okay, could Cody Bellinger end up playing for the Houston Astros? And if he ends up playing for the Astros, do Dodger fans care at all, or do they not? We'll do that coming up next. Plus, Russell Westbrook, it sounds like he may come back to the Clippers. Is that the best place for him? We'll do all that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show. Yates in for T-Rod, 710 ESPN. Nuggets parade is going on as we speak.
And it has given me life for one simple reason, Sliwa.
Yep.
Your boy, the Big CY, filling in for Travis here today. Michael Malone is apparently a goon and a half.
I love it.
And I don't just mean okay, let me explain something to you.
Okay.
As a brother, when you are looking for a white guy that's going to be potentially part of the crew, there are certain situations in which you got to see how do you operate before said approval comes through. This is a separate admission process from the handsome man community, unrelated.
Okay.
Just watching video of the way Michael Malone moves around, you know what I'm saying? His court awareness in a party circumstance, whether it be with a bottle of alcohol, whether it be without, whether it be dapping people up. This dude's got a cookout invite for the rest of his life, no doubt about it.
What am I missing? What happened?
He's just cool with it. He's got the chain on.
How
He's
about his
walking
shirt?
like
What does
he
his shirt
runs the
say?
block.
What does his shirt say?
His shirt says, "Stick that in your pipe and smoke it."
Yep. His own catchphrase.
I mean, this is hood legend status right here that this dude is going on. Spraying bottles of champagne on people like he's done it before, Taylor, and he's never won another NBA championship, so I wonder where he did that, okay? I know where I learned how to do that, and it certainly wasn't at a championship parade. Michael Malone has moved up many notches in my book simply due to his behavior at this parade.
Okay, so we got some. What's the sound that we have here? Do we have that? Or
Yeah,
we're working
so
on it?
it's Vic Lombardi
Yeah.
talking at the Denver Nuggets parade. And
I think he's I'm assuming one of the broadcasters. It says
Yes, he's on-
altitude
he's
up
on
there,
al- he's on
92.5 in
altitude,
Denver.
yeah.
Okay.
He's talking some stuff to the Lakers.
Okay.
He came into this world as the son of a coach, but in these playoffs, he became the Lakers' daddy.
That's a lame line.
And talking about Michael Malone.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay, let me say this.
I love Michael
Malone. It is a lame line, but when you win the championship, I gotta be honest with you, kind of do whatever you want. It doesn't if this happened in the Western Conference. Let me give you a better example. Okay, this is I'll tie this back to the Padres.
Mhm.
Remember when the Padres did the Kershaw meme?
Sure.
After Game 1 against the Dodgers this year, and then went on to lose 5 in a row over the next 7-8 days or whatever the case is. That's stupid. That's you. There's no justification. Yeah, you beat the Dodgers in the playoffs. You didn't win a World Series.
Right.
You didn't win. Okay, what's your goal? Is your goal just to beat the Dodgers, or is it go win a World Series? I thought that line is cheesy. I think maybe some of this stuff is a little cheesy. I think the Denver Nuggets look at the Lakers the way the Lakers don't look at the Denver Nuggets, but that's all right. Portland looks
They
at the
did
Lakers.
beat them and sweep them.
We can't. We
So-
can't.
No.
We can't keep going back to the y'all aren't our rivals, but we're yours. You can't do that when you lost the title to this team.
Yates, but it's the truth. It's okay if Denver looks at the Lakers as a rival. The Lakers do not look at the Nuggets as a rival.
I don't know that I agree with Denver looking at the Lakers as a rival when they're sitting here.
Why do they keep mentioning them?
Because they swept them, and they're the only team they swept.
Okay, so let's say they. Okay, why didn't they say the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant and
Didn't
Devin
sweep 'em.
Booker?
I think it's because they were overlooked the entire series by just the national media.
And
I don't think it's got a-
it's
You know
because
why they
it's
were
the Los
overlooked?
Angeles
Right.
Lakers.
Okay.
It's more to do with that than it does that they swept the Lakers.
So it's turnabout is fair play. That's exactly what it is. I think you're right. It's
Which
funny, though.
but I'm going to go back to. I don't have a problem with any of it.
Right.
And this is as big of a Laker fan as it comes. If you beat the squad, you can't really say anything. Whether it's him wearing the
Not just beat, swept
the Lakers. Yeah,
swept.
you're right. Swept the
the
Lakers.
only team they swept on the way there. Now, close series, margin of victory smaller than every other series they played.
I guess
But the only team that they did not lose a game to in the playoffs.
I guess you're right. They Minnesota grabbed 1, Phoenix grabbed 2, Miami grabbed 1, Lakers got swept. But the sweep thing, you either won or you lost. That one doesn't do as much for me.
Well, I can tell you
whether
what they
got
didn't do.
swept or not.
Tell you what
they
they
didn't win a
didn't
game.
I mean, that's where the "Hey Kobe, tell me how my tastes" type vibe comes from. It's the sweep.
So
that's the bigger deal. You pull out a 7-gamer against the Lakers and then go on to bang out the Heat. It's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You sweep the Lakers, who have been stealing your headlines proverbially in Michael Malone's mind the entire season. That's a different animal, I think. Very specifically.
What I meant by the rival thing, I'm not saying that to take anything away from Denver.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that there are a lot of times the Blazers think their rival is the Lakers, or the Kings, like Taylor's a good example, where the Kings, a lot of them really, really despise and don't like the Lakers. I'm not like trying to take anything away from Denver. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think there's a lot of Laker fans that were paying that much attention to, oh my gosh, the Denver Nuggets, oh my gosh, the
better
Denver
hope
Nuggets.
the front office was paying attention to the
Well,
Denver Nuggets.
that's just a pure basketball thing.
That's
You're
what
right
I'm
about
saying,
that.
yeah.
From a basketball thing, that's the team.
We've got more Michael Malone getting after it.
What a great day to celebrate a championship, but we're not done yet. We're some greedy bastards, baby. We're some greedy bastards. We're getting another one. And I'm out.
And I'm out.
Drop the mic. Michael Malone.
While he has a belt on his shoulder and he has his chain on his neck.
And the hater blockers on his face.
Exactly.
Michael Malone
even
is
after,
the modern
when
version.
they won the championship, right after they won the championship, what was he saying? Some of his quotes was, yeah, well, we're not here to just win one. That's pretty baller. Give the guy credit.
Michael Malone's father was Chuck Daly's lead assistant.
Yep.
The Chuck Daly vibes that I get from Michael Malone. Now, Chuck was a little bit more buttoned up, literally and
Different
physically.
era, too,
Different
so
era.
might have just
But
been
if you
that.
sort of adjust for era, Michael Malone is a lot like a Chuck Daly, and I realize that that's a lofty goal to be putting on somebody. But again, it's like a family connection. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Chuck Daly is a guy that Michael kind of patterns his game after in terms of how he operates an NBA franchise. And guess what? The late great Chuck Daly won 2 NBA championships in a row and was an Olympic coach for years.
I didn't have, and I don't know how other Laker fans feel about this. You lose against a team. I'm going against them. I was rooting for the Nuggets to beat Miami. I wanted a franchise. There's something for me. I like the story of the Milwaukee Bucks when they hadn't won a championship in so long. The Cleveland Cavaliers when Bron won a championship there. They hadn't won in so long. I'm a fan of those stories. The franchise had never been to the NBA Finals, period.
They'd never been a 1 seed.
They had never been a 1 seed.
It was a bit more than just the finals. It was
so
wild.
I get the excitement. I get the talk your you-know-what. Hey, if you win a ring, you could kind of do whatever the hell you want.
Who's going to win a title first next? The Nuggets or the Lakers?
I think the clear favorite would be the Nuggets.
Has to be.
Yeah,
because they just won.
Has to be.
Yeah, and I think
they don't turn over their rosters after they win NBA championships. The last time I checked,
also true.
They don't, and they're going to have to build that way, and they already have the foundation. Why would you F with the foundation?
And they're both so young. Murray and Jokic are so young.
Yep.
The window is so open. Michael Malone is a great coach. They have the ability that now people, if they want to come and be a vet, take a 1-year deal, whatever, come and play for the Denver Nuggets, it's great. The Lakers have a big hill to climb.
What did you put? You put on here. Where did you see this? So you said Chris Paul's working out at the Lakers facility?
I watched this video.
So I sent it to your text. So if you want to look at it, you can see it there. But yes. So Chris Paul.
It's like a fever dream from 12 years ago. When
is working out at the Lakers facility, but it doesn't look like the one that's in El Segundo that we had all the media day stuff in. But it is a Lakers court there. Could just be that he's in Los Angeles, wants to get some shots up. But is it nothing?
Is he at like a Lakers black site facility in terms of
he might have
is it off the board? You know what I mean? Like they've got secret hideout locations.
He might have like a home gym, and he 12 years ago when he got traded for 3 hours.
I'm like watching
this. I'm just gonna keep this, guys.
This is so crazy to look at. You know,
I'm not gonna take this.
Yeah,
off.
it's a little too much to get the paint off.
But
yeah, you never know. Listen, and to answer your question too, if they came back with the same exact roster, yeah, Denver would obviously be the clear favorite, but I think a lot of these teams in the Western Conference know they can't come back with the same roster.
Yeah,
because of the Denver Nuggets.
Because of the Denver Nuggets, right? It's a game changer.
Okay, let's do this when we come back. I mentioned it for a quick second. Russell Westbrook, what do you think he should do? This is a player that is coming off a $47 million contract.
He's owed what?
Now he's done. That contract's all done. So he got paid his $47 million. I want to, I know it's not going to be the biggest conversation this offseason, but there were some reports about what he may do. We'll talk about Russ coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show. Yates in the house, 710 ESPN. Is back in L.A. to celebrate. Trav and I are giving fans a chance to win the ultimate luxury experience to Pacific Palms Resort. Here's how you can win. Call in right now. So this isn't one of those. We're going to do it later. Call right now. 877-710-ESPN. Caller number 7 wins a $50 gift card to Red Restaurant and qualifies for the grand prize. The grand prize, by the way, a 2-night stay at Pacific Palms Resort, 2 rounds of golf, and dinner at the Red Restaurant, Pacific Palms Resort. LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort. Book your next getaway at PacificPalmsResort.com. Call right now, 877-710-3776.
The biggest show on the
And you're like, just go look at the court. The
Of Chris
court
Paul
looks
is what
of
you're talking
Chris
about.
Paul, who was supposedly working out on some kind of
He
Lakers
takes a curl
court.
from the top of the key and puts up a jumper. That's all I saw.
So Emily asked, is this something or nothing? And then I click on the link, and it's been deleted. So maybe it is something.
Now it's clearly
Now it's
nothing.
clearly.
Oh, Twilight Zone.
I think it's clearly something if you're going out of your way to say, oh, get that off. Yeah, don't. Who posted that?
Especially if it's at the Lakers black site, CIA black site, where apparently it's not El Segundo, but it's another Lakers facility.
Or it's Chris Paul's home.
Or it's his basement, which is very interesting. Slee, you got to get on the case. You've got sources.
Yeah, I'm going to text the same person you text. McMenamin? What do you got?
I'm not texting
Anything
McMenamin
going on there,
for
Dave?
that news.
All right, so this just came out right now from Shams Charania of The Athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Another team that's had Bradley Beal trade talks with the Wizards.
Yep.
Think of a team, I don't know, did you see it at all or no? Think of a team in the Western Conference that was very, very much
the Suns
in the mix.
I would say the Suns probably have a maybe not. He's a little too close to a Booker type. Oh,
The Sacramento
like the
Kings.
Beans.
Sources
The
tell
Beamer Ballers.
Sham Charania and at Sam Amick, it's believed Beal would consider Sacramento given his no-trade clause, but right now there does not appear to be a clear pathway for the two sides.
Okay, so let me explain something to you guys.
By the way, how is he the only dude? Did you see his...
I will explain this to you because
Is this
the
a
Washington
Washington
Wizards are the dumbest franchise in the NBA. Not close.
That is
Not
the best explanation
close.
I will
It
ever
is
hear
as
when it comes
simple
to his
as-
contract.
It is simple as that. They gave this guy, they maxed out every option that they could have with him. And then as soon as he gets the big Supermax deal, he says he wants to go and they let him. If I'm going through all those hoops, I'm saying, no, your butt's staying right here.
I don't mind the idea of trading him if you get the value.
Yeah, but again, you've already hampered yourself in what the whole point of having the trade value is. If you've given him his own no-trade clause, that is also transferable to the other team. I don't even understand how that works. Like, anyway.
That's insane. That part is insane,
It's completely
but you
insane.
explained it right
It's been
about that.
roster construction malpractice for the past 25 years in Washington. So that's another story. Secondarily, though, Bradley Beal is not the third in a big three in the modern NBA, in my particular opinion.
Okay.
You've got to have a better two than he's ever even played with, period. And he's a more distant three. He's a four. If you're really just, I don't mean position-wise. I mean grading scorer options. Now, he fills it up playing for the lowly Wizards in garbage time.
You think the fourth best player on a team? Maybe I value Beal a lot higher than that.
I don't know why you do. Have you ever seen him do the things that you expect out of these playoff teams?
They had a little bit of time. They had a small little, quiet little run where he was putting up a lot of
Listen,
numbers.
this is not about Bradley Beal being a bad basketball player. It's about the fact that he does not have enough experience in these spots for me to think he's going to go to a team that's any good and suddenly become their second or third option. That's literally never happened in his career. I don't understand why you would even put that pressure on a guy like that outside of the money he makes. But you telling me if you trade away the farm and you say, oh, here's our guy, come on down, Bradley Beal, that people are showing up in arenas across America to see that for any other team other than the Wizards? I don't actually think so.
No, but what I think is, I'll give you an example. It's not the best example, but it's the best that I can do. If he's in a situation where it's not happening here, but I'm just going to give you the example. Andrew Wiggins with the Golden State Warriors, you can't find a better fit for a player like that where the pressure's not on him. But he's still a really good basketball player. Bradley Beal, he's not going to be a Laker, but I'm just going to give you an example here. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Bradley Beal.
That would actually work.
I agree.
That I agree would work, but it would be because, like I said, LeBron and AD's games are so different and dynamic where literally all Beal would have to do is be a spot-up shooter guy, maybe hit a couple transition jobbies, but at $57 million or whatever it is a year, what are we doing?
I know.
That's a GDP of some nations. That's a little too much for a guy that can only really do one thing. And rather than that, in addition to that, you don't know if it's going to happen in clutch time because he's never played particularly important NBA minutes. Again, that's not a knock on Beal the person. This is a function of the spinning wheel of mediocrity that is the Wizards. Many people leave that team and do become champions, though. Hi, Ish Smith. Hi, KCP.
Okay, so...
Hi, Thomas Bryant.
I love you picked the three
most non-guys. You know what I'm saying?
Well, KCP, you're good with that one.
Yeah.
This is, I think, what it comes down to. And listen, some interesting things are going to happen in the NBA. By the time you get to July 1st and teams that are going to decide, let's just freaking punt. We want nothing. Washington is a good example. What are you paying somebody like that for, and you're not even remotely close to making the playoffs? So rebuild. You got to rebuild. The problem is it's still the same ownership, and the same result's going to continue to happen whether you do it or not. But I'll give you an example. I'll give you, if we're looking at Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal, right? You're looking at money-wise. What do these guys make? You're looking at what their age is and everything else. I think most people would say, hey, if Dame ends up on the right team, that guy's a killer.
Yes.
That guy's got the, you're talking about the clutch gene.
We are familiar with Dame time.
His biggest problem is he's been the best player on his team for X amount of years. It's not good enough in the NBA.
No.
Freaking LeBron has Anthony Davis with him. And I use that as an example, but teams win because they have multiple stars and really good role players.
Right.
So Dame as the best player on your team, come on. Are you going to go win a championship? Are you going to compete? Of course you're not. But what if Dame is, I'm going to throw out a team there. What if he's on the Sixers and Embiid is there with him? And you got role players, and you have
Harden's not there,
and Harden's not, and Nick Nurse is your head coach. I'm using that as an example.
I don't hate that.
That changes everything.
You're right.
That definitely changes everything. The problem is a lot of these players that are really, really good, like Damian Lillard and Bradley Beal, you make them franchise players, and they're not franchise players, but all these franchises have X amount of dollars that they have to spend. They throw it on one guy.
I'd go so far as to say also, in the modern NBA, making guards your franchise guy is a very risky proposition, just as a matter of course. And I do think that Beal is different from Dame in this way. Dame is on the ball more. You know what I'm saying? Dame has proven that he can control a game well beyond just scoring in a game. And Beal, I don't think that Beal isn't capable of it. We just don't know it. These are not things that he did. I mean, I used to have a running joke back in D.C.
His contract's crazy.
Which was, when's the last time we saw Bradley Beal dunk a basketball? That was like a thing up until like 2 seasons ago. I was like, I've seen this guy dunk in 5 seasons. Like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, sure. Nice jumper, sure. Knows how to get to the hoop. Can he bang on somebody's head already? Is this going to happen? That's since changed. He's become a little bit more of a power player at the rim, at the cup, as you like to say. But I just don't know at this stage of his career, he's 30. You know what I mean? To sort of alter your game, or rather, for your game to grow to something, you've got to be in a position for it to happen. And if you're only in a position for it to happen when it's on the line, it's tough to know whether or not you're going to be able to
Taylor, you want in the Bradley Beal business?
I don't. The Kings have no problem scoring, and I don't think they're
true.
I don't think their defense is going to improve much with Beal, and unless you're bringing defense or rebounding to the Kings, I think continuity is the way to go in today's NBA.
How do you even match a contract for Bradley Beal? Right, like you're using. I'm assuming Harrison Barnes, and I don't even. Is Harrison Barnes a free agent?
Barnes can go. Yeah, he is a free agent.
Barnes is a tradable, movable piece, or rather,
Herter or Monk. Or Davion Mitchell, or some picks.
I like Malik Monk a little bit.
I like Monk too.
I love Monk with.
Yeah. I just don't think all of those guys. Like, here's what I'm saying.
But he is right about you're bringing in a player that doesn't play defense on a squad that doesn't play.
And we don't need scoring or shooting.
And who's proven nothing. It'd be one thing if this was Robert Horry who'd knocked down a bunch of bangers in champion. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's a guy who's never been outside of the second round of the playoffs.
He led the league in scoring, but I think they're empty stats.
Did you see this?
100% agree.
Did you see this Russell Westbrook?
No, you mentioned that before the break.
I'm going to read this. Eric Pincus put this out, a Bleacher Report. He said the Clippers are hoping to re-sign Russell Westbrook at a hometown discount, $3.8 million for 1 year. And I asked you, I said that, what do you think Russell Westbrook should do? You kind of had an interesting answer there.
I said retire. I mean, and not because I think that he doesn't belong in the league. Okay, the only reason I say that is because I don't see Russell Westbrook as a guy taking a hometown discount. And if you're holding out for tens of millions of dollars,
that's not going to come.
That's not arriving.
That's not going to
come. And
I
don't think that's not that I think that Russell's a greedy person or anything. I just think that Russell has a real life outside of basketball. Bro, you brought in a haul last couple of years. Go live your life, buddy. You know what I mean? Like, God bless you. I just don't know that if you want to – it's hard for guys that, that age unless they know they're going to get a ring, and that's tough to guarantee for a team like the Clippers.
34. He'll be 35 a couple months into the season.
Yeah, but he's 35, and he plays with a higher motor than a lot of guys. There's a lot more tread on those tires just in terms of how he gets up and down the floor than the average 35-year-old who's like, say, I don't know, Kevin Love. It's not the same brand of basketball.
Can I play this out for you?
Sure.
He was with the Lakers for about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It went awful. And it's not all on him. So when people were frustrated at Russell Westbrook, Russ did not trade himself to the Lakers.
No.
So that's on your front office. That's on
perhaps your players.
Perhaps players that have obviously power and influence. With all that being said, he ends up on the Los Angeles Clippers last year, towards the end of the season. I thought he was a
contributor.
He did a good job there.
Yeah, contributor.
And I thought, too, something that was happening for him that certainly didn't happen as a Laker. It looked like he wanted to be there. It felt like the players embraced him. It felt like the fans embraced him. I think if you got a chance, and I know when I say this, a lot of people are going to say, what the hell are you talking about? The Clippers still have a chance to win an NBA championship.
Of course.
The problem is they just can't stay healthy.
Right.
But if they, for as much bad luck as they've had health-wise, if they have a year where everyone's healthy, they got a shot at winning the whole thing. I think if you're Russ, you get a chance to stay in L.A. $4 million is nothing. I know it's nothing compared to what you were making in the past.
Right.
Why? It's a 1-year deal. Why wouldn't you say, hey, I'm going to run it back with the Clippers and see what happens?
A Kershaw-like situation, if you will. A 1-year deal with the team hometown, you know what I mean? Even though you've had a career that spanned you more money. I don't hate that. I
don't think there's another situation better than that.
It's going to be the Clippers, or it's not going to be something
if
you
another
like.
squad gave you $10 million, but you got to play in Charlotte,
Is that really what you want to do? And that's where the retirement thing comes in. Because if it turns out that the Clippers don't want him, or rather, for whatever reason, the Clippers, let's just say this more diplomatically, don't have him in their plans. I don't know that. I just don't see a situation where Russell puts on yet another New Jersey.
Sure.
In his frankly very accomplished and impressive career.
All right, Dump coming up next. Stay right here.
For everything we haven't gotten to today, yes, it's time for the dump.
All right, so I'm seeing a lot of video here. Kind of deceiving here on Twitter, which is not very out of the ordinary. You see a lot of these video of the Denver Nuggets parade, and there's some clips that shows nobody's there, and then there's other clips that show, I mean, there's so many of these that are trying to say that nobody's at the Nuggets parade. I saw some clips, I don't know if you guys saw it too.
By the way.
There's some, it looks like there's thousands and thousands
Let
of
me
people
explain
there.
something
Yeah,
to you,
there's
Lakers
this view
fans.
to like the Capitol, and it's all full.
Everybody
Nobody
is showing
at
these like
your
turning
parade
the corner.
doesn't mean that you get to give the trophy back, okay? Like, let's not get too crazy here. Also, some of you have probably never been to downtown Denver. Downtown Denver is like Resident Evil in some places. You're just like, it's a very interesting sort of downtown situation. Like outside of the stadium parts, and I don't want to get too far into social discussions about this, but like I've been there a couple times for a couple different things, and you're walking around and you're like, Are you gonna ask me for money? Are you gonna hurt me? Or are you gonna offer me something?
Yeah,
what's going on here? Like there's the sort of the residue of what we'll just call the Occupy movement has created a very interesting situation with the humans that are downtown on a regular basis, and it can be a little, it's a little interesting.
And, also being in a crowd based off of what happened the night that the Nuggets
yeah, exactly.
won,
like things went awry. Like, come on, we're not parade shaming in other cities that
Okay, did you guys see this? Paul George last night.
Yep.
Threw out the first pitch at the Padres game yesterday.
I saw this.
It's kind of interesting because
why is he at the Padres game?
I tell you why. He's there because he can't throw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. He can't. I'm not kidding. This is the truth. This is the reality.
Possible.
There is, I think it was Chris Paul that threw out the first pitch.
Yeah, I tried to find the clip.
Day.
I couldn't find it for some reason. But
okay, so there have been other. It's kind of a. you got to be representing the right team. LA is not one of those cities where it's, hey, as long as it says Los Angeles on the front, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If you're representing the Clippers and you're at a Dodger game, well, 99.9% of the Dodger fans are Laker fans.
Yeah, it's not
But
going to work.
also, I feel like, though, if like Justin Herbert threw at the first pitch and Matthew Stafford did, I feel like that would be pretty even. There's no one's booing
I don't know about
Justin
that.
Herbert.
I think Justin Herbert might catch a few more boos than
No,
you think
people
in
aren't
Dodger
booing
Stadium.
Justin Herbert.
Okay, so I think the Chargers are the one where it's like there really isn't a
no one
feeling
cares.
towards
Yeah.
them. Right? I don't really think there's a feeling towards them. If you're at a I think this only happens really at Dodger games too, and it's kind of a Laker affiliate. It's if you're not a Los Angeles Laker, you're probably going to get some boos. So to answer your question, why is Paul George in San Diego? So he doesn't get any boos.
Decent pitch, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know who had a great pitch last night? I was stunned by this.
Who's that?
Chris Tucker.
Did he?
Chris Tucker went full wind-up. So here's the thing.
From the mound?
He did from the mound. He did this
Did
like
he play sports?
He did. Okay. So he did a little quick interview with Jay like before the national anthems. Mm-hmm. And then he sort of warmed up on the side, and he was like doing one of these, like the short arm lollipops. And I was like, oh, God, this is going to go horrendously.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was deking everybody because he got up there, gave a little Vita Blue, came with it across. And I was like, okay, not pop. No, not pop. There was no popping of the gloves.
91?
I did not do one of these. You know where you got the gun and show the guy? Yeah, no, not one of those. But I was like, oh, this is a relatively fluid motion from on the mound, so I appreciated that.
You know, I always think of when I think of best first pitches, and it just always comes to mind is after September 11th.
Yeah.
President Bush
got on the mound, had the hat on.
Got on the mound, had the hat on, and threw what was like you couldn't have placed it in a better position.
He's a baseball guy.
America's baseball president is what we call him. Yeah.
But still, it's like every time you're in situations like that, only the ones you remember are the ones that just go awful. Wasn't a dude like in the last week? Didn't he fall off the mound? Did you guys see this?
I did not see that.
The guy
Mike
accidentally
Clevenger fell off the mound
backpedaled.
yesterday.
He accidentally backpedaled, and all the comments were, well, Floyd Mayweather, or not Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor feels better, 50 Cent feels better, everybody feels better because they saw this guy backpedal and fall off the mound.
You know who had a great one? Simone Biles. She did a
right.
backflip and then threw the ball.
And again, first pitch is not that hard. People just get psyched out.
Of course
it is
they do.
literally 60 feet 6 inches away if you're on the mound. Like, it ain't that hard. You know, you just got to practice.
Black Mirror Season 6 is out now.
Yes. Me and Taylor are psyched about it.
Okay. Slee, you got to catch up, man.
We love the dystopian.
I watched one. I got one in, and then after that, I was out.
Nightmares.
Have you ever watched Black Mirror?
Black Mirror up there on the list of things, a little too real and scary for me. Can't really do it. But
it is
it's a
scary.
little too close to reality.
I want to give it another shot.
For me to like,
Daniel
I
Kaluuya's
can't.
in an episode. It's a good show.
It's like the escape room of television shows. Like it just makes me anxious off rip. Can't do it.
The whole season come out at once?
So the whole season for season 6 is out now. The first episode is involves Aaron Paul, and I think it's called something like Beyond the Sea. So I think it's having something to do with a submarine, but we'll see. But they have big name actors in this season. It's going to be great.
Damn. So Taylor, you're excited about it too?
I was telling Emily I'm going to re-download Netflix for this. Well,
oh, you're out of the Netflix game?
I mean, I just don't watch enough.
Yeah, their
honestly,
content's not great
to justify. But for this show,
they also do that thing where they'll put somebody on the thumbnail of a picture that's in the movie for like 30 seconds.
And
because
they're like,
your
yeah, that's
algorithm
good
tells you. I watched some movie the other day that I thought Method Man was going to be in. I got 10 hours of Jennifer Aniston. I'm like, what is this? Not Jennifer Aniston. I can't even remember her name. The one who was married to Ben Affleck. Anyway,
Jennifer Gardner.
That one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I was furious.
But also for me, it's an issue too because my sisters and I all share the same account, and so almost at any time, it's like, oh, too many screens, and I have to be like, Maggie, get off the Netflix.
Wait,
God, I would love to see that family
text
chat.
chain?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they TV and movie buffs as much as you, Emily?
Yeah, different ways, but yes, my sister Sarah probably watches as much, if not more, than I do, and Claire just watches Gilmore Girls over and over again. So there's that.
How many can you have at once right now for Netflix?
So it depends. You can upgrade. So obviously you can get more, but I think it's 2 at one time.
2 at one
so
time.
if you add a third,
That is strict.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm just glad my parents don't really use it ever, and so it's just essentially me and my sister.
What's the cost to add another one? Have you done
Probably
that?
$4.99, but I don't pay for it. It's my. parents. I'm not going to ask them to pay more money for it.
All right, this got to give a shout-out to one of the great broadcasters. The Television Academy today named broadcaster Stu Lance as the recipient of the 75th Los Angeles Area Emmy Governors Award, recognizing his 36-year career as a broadcast analyst for the Los Angeles Lakers. So I got a quick story on this. How long has Stu Lance been doing this? It gives you a good idea.
Oh, what was going on in the world when he was started? Is this one of these?
No. So this is just my own personal story with Stu. So back in the day, the Lakers would play one preseason game down in San Diego every year. So I'm like 10, 11 years old. And I was at that time I'm a big Laker fan. I would wait for Chicken Stew post game down in San Diego in their one televised preseason game Lakers would have, just to say hi to Chicken Stew back in the days. This is at the Sports Arena in like 92, 93. But the man, really, really cool recognition. 36-year career as a broadcast analyst for the Lakers.
I mean, that's a lifetime. Literal lifetime these days.
Yeah, John will speak any the Chicken Stew days, and we sit. And John, I know you got more history with the Los Angeles Lakers than anybody else, but I was just telling Yates, back in the Sports Arena days, we were talking about yesterday, Stu is getting recognized for his 36 years. Back in the Sports Arena days, I would wait for Chicken Stew to finish just to say hello to the two of them, and here's Stu still doing it.
Here's the amazing thing about Stu Lance. To this day, but first of all, he's just a great guy.
Yep.
I mean, he's the unofficial kind of leader of our traveling.
Sure.
He's the Yoda of the traveling party. But still, to this day, lives in San Diego and commutes for every game. And we've had nights where we'll play.
Yates, how about that? Listen to this.
So we'll play a game in Portland, all right, on a Saturday night. And we have a Sunday day game at 12:30. All right, so by the time we land, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I've said to Stu probably 30 times, Stu, come stay in my guest room. You're literally going to wake up. You've already got your overnight bag because we just did a game in Portland. You're literally going to wake up, take a shower, and go to Staples Center, now Crypto.com Arena. And you go, nope, can't do it. We'll drive all the way home. So he'll get home at 3 in the morning. He'll get up at 8. At 9, he'll get back in his car,
turn around and drive back up.
Some people are just like that. Can't operate unless you sleep in your own bed.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, and Michael's about halfway, and Michael's offered to have Stu stay at his house.
Wow,
and,
Michael's offered to stay. That's a shocker.
Michael will tell you, he's here today. He will tell you that he credits Stu for his career because when they decided to split up TV and radio, they figured out they could make more money ending the simulcast and having one TV broadcast and one radio broadcast. It was Stu that recommended Michael for the radio job, and to this day, Michael will not let Stu pick up a check. Like wherever we go, even if
it's a solid move,
big dinner, small dinner, whatever it is, Michael will not let Stu pay for anything because he credits Stu for his job.
That's strong. I will say something, though, quickly. You walked in here and you got straight after it on the remote. You got rid of NBA Today and got straight to the golf.
You guys aren't watching.
We have the golf over there. There's 4 screens over there. We got the quad box.
This is the main feed.
I get it. What I was going to say is, tell me about what your interest is in this weekend's tournament. Who you got? What's going on? We know that you are our LACC correspondent.
Yes.
Please tell us about the up and
guy
downs.
in 5th place, Max Homa, is the guy I'm kind of hoping he's 3 shots off the lead. When he was in college at Cal, they played the Pac-12 championships at LACC, and he set the course record with a 62.
This is
so
inside
I'm hoping
information.
that Homa kind of comes out. Grew up in Valencia. I'm hoping he's the guy. So that's one of I have 6 guys. He's one of my 6.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the golf tournament, but it's a really good movie on TNT right now.
Oh, what is it? What picture is it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
it
sure.
looks good.
Yeah, I got the volume on just my left ear.
Good picture.
He's got. That's funny.
All right, Super Crosstalk starts right now.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, Mason and Ireland here. T. Raj out, Clinton Yates in.
What up?
So that was an interesting exchange.
Yeah, very
right
interesting.
there.
So John Ireland is a self-described stain master. He can
Laundry
remove,
czar is what my wife calls me.
He can remove a stain from absolutely anything. So I've got this great white pullover.
Yep.
Yes, one of my favorites.
Easy to get stains on.
Ballpoint pen yesterday. I handed it to Ireland. Gone.
There he is. Here we go.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, Michael Thompson.
The guy across the table here is the host of the year. He comes in here, now he's the lead host. Has Travis Rogers been Wally picked?
Let's start that rumor.
Travis threatened by
Travis
all this.
out.
Yeah, we don't know.
Travis out.
We told
Slee in, Travis out.
We told Trav. We just said, hey, why don't you take Thursday and Friday off? Why don't you just take Thursday and
The
Friday
Sliwa
off?
and Travis show.
Yeah. I mean, at some point that has to change now, right?
It does. Your name should come first.
I am a manager of the softball team.
Oh, that's
as well.
right. You versus me this year.
So there's a lot going
And
on.
by the way,
there.
you know you're stuck with Kaplan.
Okay, so
Don't
hold
say
on.
stuck with.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah, okay.
Because there are some fundamental changes I think that could happen at the softball game that
Stretching?
would be beneficial. No,
Stretching?
I'm talking about actual stuff, not just
Okay.
things to prevent you old guys from blowing your knees out.
Okay.
I mean, like, fundamentally to the thing. I think we should do a pick'em on site. And here's how you do it. You don't just go captains back and forth. What you do is this. This is the thing we used to do at camp all the time, particularly at baseball camp. Let's say I pick Ireland.
Right.
We're on the same team. Ireland picks the next player.
Oh, yeah, no, that
That way you don't get into the stuff of all the favoritism necessarily, but you've got to pick somebody that you think
Mace
knows something
prefers
about
the
something.
politics.
I prefer let me tell you, I don't care about the politics.
Yeah.
I want the players, right? And last year you saw my team. I pulled
Well,
together
okay,
a
but
here's
that-
the
but that
problem
was
with-
last
here's the
year.
problem
with
we
Clinton's way is you can do that if you don't care about the uniforms.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's right.
Exactly. And we have, you're exactly right.
Right.
You don't need to, I mean, if the uniforms are what takes a hit, I mean, God forbid, you know what I'm saying? But I think that it's also a fun way to figure out who you want politics.
Yeah,
who
right.
you're going to pick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's a little bit more interesting.
Right, the more
than
politics, the better,
than
right?
But it's not malicious in the sense of there's only two people doing it.
Right.
You get a lot of things going, and then it adds an element of surprise.
Well,
That's
let me
why I
tell you
think.
something, Clay. You're near the top of my draft board.
Well, I might not be there because I might.
Oh, you may not be there?
Again,
I'm in the same boat.
I cover actual baseball. An All-Star weekend.
But this is as like
is
where are
when
you
the
gonna
All-Star
find more
game is.
Oh,
athletes?
it's sliding a little. We're off.
All right, I might be
of
out
the
of time. We'll
seventh.
see.
Right, we're off of the
things
seventh.
are up in the air for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
So
never know.
currently, right now, because you said
Ricky
I'm
Fowler
stuck
is
with Cap.
unconscious.
Yeah.
You said I'm stuck with Cap, but I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I want Cap on my team.
Oh, good
So
for you.
Sedano's on your team?
Yes.
Is that what they decided? So
Sedano,
right now,
yeah.
it's 2-on-2, and then we got to figure out the rest
Correct.
of the roster.
And I want to general manage. Like, I'm the Friedman of this thing.
Yep.
I want to be the
Yep.
Andrew Friedman. I want to cobble together just the right some depth. I want
Who's
pitching.
Who's going to be your Dave Roberts scapegoat when it goes wrong? You need somebody to blame.
Sedano. Sedano is that guy.
You brought Ron Mitchell up in from the AAA.
He
last
was AAA.
year.
Yeah,
you brought him.
Nobody had seen him before.
Yep.
No, and boy, people were baffled.
Yeah,
People
he really
were
had. What's we
baffled
call it?
by
The ghost slider.
Ron Mitchell
disappeared.
Like Kode is it Kode Senga?
I can't remember.
I
think that's how
his
you
name.
pronounce it, but that is his name. Yeah.
Yeah, he does have the ghost pitch.
Exactly.
Okay, so
hold on. Can we get back to the stain removal thing?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
what I was going to say is I spend a lot of time on what's known, Emily knows this, as what's known as clean talk, which are TikTok creators who basically just clean things.
Right.
Whether it's surfaces, whether it's
Really?
outdoor, indoor.
And they're creative with,
fabric,
like, how they do it or whatever?
No, they're just effective. Fabric cleaning is a big part. John, you might have a side TikTok career on Clean Talk if you get somebody to
So you're
document
not-
your methods.
I'm guessing you're on TikTok.
Yeah, mostly as a viewer. I don't put a lot of content on
Because
TikTok.
what everyone's telling me, including people at corporate ESPN, is don't get on TikTok because it's a Chinese watchdog.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
that
there's
is that
Facial
not- you don't-
recognition.
You don't buy it?
I mean, I buy it.
I
but
don't
if-
know enough about it to buy it or not.
Here's what I buy.
Mace, are you
They
on TikTok?
already know everything they want to
I
know.
deleted my TikTok, but like my mom loves TikTok. My not stepdad Leo loves. There's like handyman advice and cooking recipes and all that kind of stuff.
It's as useful as a resource as I've had since I don't even know. Like, it sort of feels like the first time the internet really became a thing. You're like, oh, I can just Google how to do this.
Can you scroll through TikTok without having the app downloaded?
Oh, that I don't know the answer to.
Instagram, it's basically like you got to log in.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, because I would like to just scroll through it. That would be great. Ireland, you would actually love scrolling through TikTok. It's just weird stuff.
It's mindless.
It's funny stuff. There's useful stuff. There's actually really good stuff. It's like Twitter with pictures.
Yes.
Well,
and words.
I'm very, I don't know if I'll actually do it, but Twitter has become so negative and has become such a cesspool that I need it to do the show because it's a good research for the show.
Yeah. But then you want out after.
The minute I leave the show, I think I'm
Let me
blowing
explain to you what Talk does. It is people.
Do you have a nickname for it? Or you just call it the Talk?
I just call it Talk.
Talk.
It's just shorter. I don't know the.
Oh, I like
It's
the
the-
Talk.
I-
I like it.
Is it the Talk where Whoopi go? No, that's the
yes,
View.
that's the View.
The other
People
one's
who
the
have
Talk.
it downloaded just call it Talk.
So anyway, over on Talk.
Here's what it is. It's that you get people presenting stories about themselves in their natural habitats. I watch a lot of teachers. I watch a lot of construction guys who just tell you about their regular lives. They're not pontificating about the world.
Right.
They don't care. They're just showing you how they redid some guy's mailbox in the front lawn, and it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot more of that. There is social commentary, don't get me wrong, but you can also get away from that much faster. I watch people build things, I watch people clean things, and I watch people make other people's lives happy. Like, that's where I keep the good stuff.
I also have seen links to people like baristas who are complaining about their employees.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. A little watchdog action.
It's like this McDonald's is this, and the fries are that, and all that kind of sort of that kind of thing's going on too. It's a fascinating. The Talk is interesting. The Talk.
I like social media more for just its political conversations.
Is that what you're looking for? You're looking for politics?
Because it's not polarizing
not
in
at
any
all.
way.
I love how healthy the country is when
Right.
it comes to Republicans and Democrats having
I
really nice conversations.
I like how people are pitted against each other. To me, that's what makes social media great.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, would you be up for putting, say, a softball draft on social media?
What do you mean putting the draft?
Would that be?
I mean, the social media.
Yes,
team will
I mean,
do it
this is what I'm
regardless.
saying. This is what I mean. You got to combine these worlds, and the draft itself
I thought the draft we were going to do it on air.
becomes part of the content
Yeah, see, I
process.
thought we were going to do it on air also.
Try a race board.
Do it,
and-
do it on the air. Do it like on the-
Because I've got a draft board at home. I've been
do it like a
arranging.
week before, and then you can talk trash.
Right, do it a week before, and then we can have a couple of practices. What are you bah-hing about? What is that?
Yeah, practice.
Go out to the field. I'll hit some fungos.
Hey, pickleball.
Fungos
I'm
now.
hitting some
You got a
fungos.
bucket of balls too.
Balls and
Pickleball,
a
we all
fungo.
practice. We practiced for pickleball.
We
Out
did
of nowhere.
practice
For pickleball, yeah. I don't see that
A lot of
happening
people
for the
before
diamond.
that pickleball tournament had never played pickleball.
It's true.
I don't see. Let's just say, based on last year's events, I don't see any softball practices happening. That's
We're
just
having
my
a big practice.
Personal opinion.
Having a big strategy session.
I don't know what your team's doing. We are definitely going to practice.
We're going to practice more than your team.
Hey,
We're
Emily.
Definitely more.
I'm thinking about, unless you talk me out of it, I'm thinking about checking out The Idol this weekend. There's only 3. Would you
It's
say?
already been canceled. Got canceled today.
For
There will
season
be
2.
no season 2.
Yes.
Okay, so
I would get it while it lasts.
Do I want to go watch episodes? This is episode 3 airing this weekend,
Yes.
right?
So I would say go in just thinking you're just gonna
With no
expectation,
Yeah.
and that you're not necessarily gonna have a quote unquote fun time, but it's just you're going in and you're just like it's well shot. It is good work of art, whatever, but it's good to make fun of.
Okay.
It's good
so
to
I
make
think
fun of.
go watch it for that reason.
All right, so I wanted to do the snake draft. I wanted to see who wound up with what movies.
Okay, so
and
here's
see if
what we
can
have.
make a
What did-
determination.
I was watching
sports,
What was it?
sports
I was
movies.
thrown off early because it's 4 people with 3 rounds. That kind of messes up the math.
Yeah, it
and
does.
kind of screwed
It
me
does.
off.
It's
So-
in honor of Bull Durham's 35th anniversary. Okay?
Bull Durham would absolutely be in my top 3.
Okay, so
Not for me.
we picked 12 movies, 3 each. Bull Durham did not get in.
Okay.
I
Believe it
picked.
or not,
Wow, Bull Durham did not get in.
Well, it's
Did
also
not
it was
get
the
in.
title of the thing, and again, 3 picks. You know what I'm
tough.
saying? 3
So,
picks.
sports movies draft, greatest sports movies of all time. All right, here's mine. We'll go down the list. I got Rocky series. Okay, Rocky.
Can't go
in
wrong
there.
with that.
I don't know if people agree. Ali is one of my favorite movies.
The Will Smith version,
Yep.
yeah.
Put
Yeah,
Ali in there.
it was about half an hour too long, but good movie.
Ali, and then Moneyball is my third pick.
Moneyball's great.
I love Moneyball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Emily had A League of Their Own.
Highly underrated.
Yep.
Remember the Titans.
Highly underrated
Very,
again.
very good.
And one of the greatest sports movies of all times because it's really about the sports part, Talladega Nights.
I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
Wow. M is winning the
My
power
smoking-
rankings in the
my
Mason and
smoking
Ireland.
off wife
They really
and both
like
my
your
kids,
list
Walker and Texas Rangers.
I went
Dear
with.
Jesus,
I went.
little
There is
baby
no way-
Jesus, not grown up Jesus, little baby Jesus.
There is no way anyone
M, would you
is
like to come
topping-
in and sit in this seat? 'Cause
There is no way anyone's topping Emily's list. I don't care what's
Bell
on
of the
your
ball.
list.
I picked White Men Can't Jump because it's the reason why I
Solid.
am who I am.
Yeah. Solid.
I picked Miracle because it's not even my favorite
Very
hockey movie,
solid.
but it's a very
Yeah,
good movie.
yeah.
And the baseball movie I picked is a very unknown, lesser known movie called The Battered Bastards of Baseball, and it's about Bing Russell, whose son Kurt Russell, when they created the Portland Mavericks, who are basically the progenitors of all of the baseball promotions we know now.
Now, is this a documentary?
It's a documentary, yeah. It's on Netflix.
My not-stepdad Leo loved it.
It's the best baseball movie I've ever seen. And here's the fun part, Ireland. The catcher on that team, a guy who they got who was a local kid who they found in open tryouts, he invented Big League Chew.
No, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's what I went with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not necessarily the bigger ones, but
Feels like a reach.
hamstrung a little bit. Hamstrung
reach.
a little bit by the
That was a
picks.
full sales job
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
yeah.
You will cry when you watch it.
Okay.
It is a tear jerker.
Okay.
So, Taylor, what were yours?
I had Sandlot, Space Jam, and $1 Million Baby.
$1 Million Baby's like the biggest downer in the world, isn't it?
You always hate on my list, though, Mace, no matter what
I
it
like
is.
your
list.
Mace
No.
always hates my
I think
list.
all
Seriously.
three of those. I think all three of those are really.
I want the
solid.
one where the girl doesn't wind up in a coma.
I,
A spoiler.
yeah, there's a couple of ones you left out. I think the first Major League is really, really good.
It is good. Oh, wait, did we get Emily's picks?
Yeah, there she had the
That's
best
the one you were
You
excited
cheered for
Oh, yeah.
20 minutes about
Talladega
it.
Nights. Yeah.
League of Their Own.
Whoever has Talladega Nights wins. And by the way, nobody,
you're in it.
I'm in it. Yeah, who picked Bull Durham? Nobody
Nothing.
put
Nada.
and nobody put Field of Dreams on there?
Well, I thought you who
Field of
hates
Dreams-
Field of Dreams?
Me.
Oh,
It's
Ireland
okay.
hates
And
Field of
Travis
Dreams.
hates it too. I like Field of
I
Dreams.
love Field of Dreams.
It's overrated. Another movie with bad baseball gameplay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not unlike The Natural. I can't watch a bad baseball gameplay movie. That's just not going to work.
And by the way, why, as a baseball guy, why do you not like Bull Durham? Like, I worked in
I
the
didn't say I
minor
didn't
leagues.
like Bull Durham. I love Bull Durham. I
to-
just don't think it's,
To me, that is what being in the minor leagues is, having been there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Bull Durham, the experience has gone through me, and I have
All right, Rudy.
I've grown out of Bull
Rudy
Durham a
didn't
little
get
bit,
any
yeah.
play. Hoosiers didn't get
Rudy
any
is
play.
a stupid
Two
movie.
terrible movies.
Any given
Hoosiers is a
Sunday,
great movie.
Any given Sunday, none of those
It's good.
got
And even Sunday got a little run because we talked about it, but it
Right.
did not
Yeah.
get picked.
Is that you could
Draft
play for
day.
that inch?
Yeah, well, we were talking about whether or not motivational speeches are the best part of sports movies. I don't happen to think that they are, but
We play for that inch.
Are you guys parade guys? If
Parade guy.
Yeah,
John likes to say parade. Say it.
Parade.
Parade. He says it as one syllable.
P-R-A-D-E.
Yeah.
Parade.
I'm a parade guy in the sense of, and anybody out there listening, if you need a host to do broadcasts for your parades, holler at me.
Yates is available.
Yeah.
I am available upon request.
Nuggets
Inquire
doing
within.
their Nuggets doing their parade right
Yeah.
now. Or just
And Mike
finished.
Malone's hammered.
Mike
Hammered.
Malone is
Oh.
just
looking
God
great.
Yeah.
bless him.
Does it when somebody gets? I think that's a good example, of Mike Malone. When somebody you're not really expecting gets as
Drunk?
thrashed
Yeah.
as he is right now, he goes up on my list a couple notches.
Yeah, you like him more because he's willing to go out
Yeah,
and get
Sean
hammered.
McVay got hammered when the Rams won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady got so drunk he threw the Super Bowl trophy off a boat.
Mason got hammered at Clearman's Galley.
Your stock went
Oh, my stock went up.
Okay,
Exactly.
how about this? Not even that. Remember Aaron Donald after they won the Super Bowl came to the Lakers game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? And he was sitting from the guy was at the bar 88% of the game and kept coming. I think that was
What's
one of
wrong
the
with
games.
that?
It's great, but it was one of the games, and they had their parade right in the middle of the day. You could
Yes.
tell he just kept drinking the entire.
Sure, day drinking. Nothing
day.
wrong with that.
Yeah. Right-
we
right
all
into
been
that.
there.
That's how
to an
I
event.
operate.
Yeah,
I don't even drink
nothing
at
wrong
night
with day
anymore.
drinking.
How's
Yeah,
that?
exactly. Get it over with.
Super Crosstalk is
Night's
brought
more
to you.
fun when you drink all day.
Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger, that's what a hamburger's all about. Mason Island coming up next.
Make a fast break.